Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. And yes, Longo, you are right. This is a reckless stream, so y'all already know rules of reckless stream are in effect. Don't put in the comments. Don't put in the comments. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, man? So shout out to BGS. Look, reviewing BGS video of reviewing Coach Greg Adams' video is weird. Sante Negro, Sante Negro, Sante Negro. Um, but this is something we must do, right? We are obligated, right? Um, I wanted to cover this, and I wanted to emphasize what Coach Greg Adams was saying, and emphasize what BGS is saying. So we're not. This is not. This is going to be a sobering stream. So Mr. Z will be giggling like a schoolgirl because you got to laugh to keep from crying. So this is going to be a sobering stream. Not We're not going full doomer, but a bit sobering because once again, Coach Greg Adams and BGS set the tempo, so Mr. Z will follow. Um, and we're going to emphasize it's the women. Okay, that part. But not just the women. Let's be honest. It is a societal trend. It is elite rich white men, and the women who agree with them, whether they realize it or not. And the fact that when you combine the two, Captain Planet, right? What we have is young people, young men and women. So I agree with Coach Greg Adams here, um, being put in this very weird position when it comes to having children, getting married, and essentially coupling up, just coupling up, right? So Coach Greg Adams plays a couple of videos where people are speaking about what's going on with the men and the women, like why aren't these people coupling up? And there's all type of answers. You hear women low key celebrating um this. I don't Once again, the macro social analysis is not there. They don't even appreciate what this means for them individually, let alone for women writ large, because for a lot of women it's about sticking it to men, right? Sticking it to men. Getting back at men, getting back at the young boys who didn't find them attractive back in middle school and high school, right? It's about getting back at the attractive dude that smashed and dashed when they were 22 and 23 years old. It's about that. So they don't fully appreciate what this is going to mean for them in their individual lives and what this is going to mean for women writ large. They think it's a given that the economic structure, the political structure, the social structure in America will always be what it is. They think it's a given, that they are going to be safe in AC offices, with paved roads and always on electricity. They think it's a given. And so for them, it's funny and it's good to spite men by saying, "Hey, hey, we're not having your children, hey, hey," right? Hey, hey, right? Right? Hey, hey, we're not marrying you because you're losers. Hey, hey, step it up and level up. Right? Hey, hey, we're out educating you. Hey, hey. So for many women, they're just not doing the social math. They're not, right? And not doing the social math while also being spiteful, they play into the hands of the Elon Musk that speak about population, but he wants a very specific type of children to be born, right? They play into the elites idea of eugenics, and that does not mean that women aren't about it either, but they don't really appreciate how much they're playing into this and how much that's going to affect them negatively in their own lives, right? So shout out to Coach Greg Adams, who said, no, we're in a death spiral. What's going on around the planet, we are in a death spiral. You see it in South Korea, you see it in China, you see it in Japan, you see it in Western Europe, you see it in Eastern Europe, you see it in America. You're also starting to see it obviously more and more in Latin America, right? Yeah. So between insane, unchecked hypergamy, hyperconsumerism, materialism, right? Concepts of hierarchy and where I place and where I rank and what I'm not going to do because I'm not here. Nothing wrong with that, except that there is stuff wrong with it when you put it on the macro level. I want to be very clear. If individual women were throwing their temper tantrums and saying what they're not going to do and they're not going to have children and they're not going to get married, and it was only 2, 3, 4% of women on that, you might be able to handle that. But once you start getting to 10 and 15 and 20% of your society plus the women saying, yeah, if I can't be elite, then F it. For those of us um, who used to follow Zoe Williams or still follow Zoe Williams, you'll recall Zoe used to have a show where he would bring on the women, and there was this black woman named, I think her name was Wednesday. I want to say her name was Wednesday, and Wednesday, there was a show that Zoe did with Tone Talks, right? Antonio Moore, and Wednesday was there, and Wednesday straight up said, and I think Wednesday was in her late 30s at the time, maybe. And she straight up said, yo, if I'm not a millionaire, I'm not having children. I'm not having children until I'm a millionaire. And she said it with all the gusto. And y'all know Antonio Moore, yes, Tone Talks, yes, ADOS Tone Talks. You know, he came with a number. He was like, the likeliness of that is like slim to none. And she said, I essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, she essentially said, I don't care. This is what I'm on. These are my standards. If I'm not a millionaire, I'm not having children. And I would argue that what Wednesday was emphasizing there is far more of what a lot of women are on than we would like to admit as a society. There are a lot of women that are saying, I will hold my womb. And by the way, Mr. Z is not about no baby making camps and you know, trying to breeder farms and all these type of weirdo stuff and forced monogamy. And no, just let women deal with the consequences. And we already know that that's going to have adverse effects on the men also, of course, right? But we also heard this same thing said by Yanni. We've heard Chrissy say things similar to this. We've heard Cynthia G say things similar to this. We've heard other white women say things similar to this. Women, especially those that have a couple of dollars to rub together, right? We hear them say this all the time because no one ever puts their hypergamy in check. And that's what you have seen over the past few decades, but it's really culminating in into where we are now. And social media, all it does is allow for the women, your average woman, to speak in her own words, and the elite political class of America is out to lunch. You're not going to be able to fix this with a bunch of immigrants. All you're doing is stemming the tide for now. The women are telling you, hey, I'm not letting go of hypergamy. So the higher I go, the more he got to earn. The more I earn, the more he has to earn. The more status I have, the more he has to have. And they're not looking to be equally yoked. Stop it, FD. Stop it, foreign man in a foreign land. Stop it, Alvin. Right? Huh? And so the women are emphasizing this. Going back to what I was saying, Tone Talks attempted to explain to Wednesday the landscape, and she wasn't having it. Huh? And I think that's perfectly okay. But then everyone else, that those of us in the know, then tell the women what that means for them. Paint the grimmest, most dystopian, darkest picture humanly possible, because that's what they're going to be living. That's what many of them already live in. Oops. Huh? The other day we covered what Miss Rabia, not too what a week ago at this point maybe we covered Leona Worldwide. Huh? Y'all heard Chrissy speak. What did Chrissy tell you? I say to average and below average looking black women all the time, If you can't date hypergamously, then it's better you be alone. And I don't care. I don't care. Huh? Chrissy just said the quiet part out loud. So she's specifically speaking about black women, particularly darker skinned black women. Well, no, but that sentiment is a sentiment that is being spread to women writ large all across the developed world, the developing world, all across America. Chrissy, as a black woman, a darker skinned black woman, is just saying the quiet part out loud. But this is the aspirational woman's credo. Period. Huh? If I can't date hypergamously and marry hypergamously, then F the world. Which wouldn't be the end of the world, possibly, if we didn't have an environment that's artificially putting the thumb on the scales for the girls and the women. So when you over index on women's achievement and leave the boys and the men to founder, y'all should have never let me get that word. Huh? Then what you have are women who put their hypergamy bar to the moon. Huh? And there's a cost to that. Women will increasingly find more and more men unappealing. That's why, Mr. Z, y'all thought I was joking. I wasn't joking. Every time you hear Anton speak, when you hear Jason Black speak, I'm like, okay, then make polygamy legal then. Huh? When you hear Ebony K. Williams speak, when you hear Chrissy speak, when you hear Cynthia G speak, when you hear Mahogany Pink speak, when you hear Paris Milan speak, when you hear, I already said Real Talk with Yanni, Real Talk with Yanni speak, fine, then make polygamy legal in and see how quick average men burn this country to the ground, burn the world to the ground. Okay, I guess we're going to restart, burn it to the ground. Let your average man know for certain, yeah, Negro, you ain't getting no vagina. And when I say Negro, I mean men. Huh? The Jason Blacks of the world will have 6 and 7 girlfriends and wives, and the Elon Musk of the world will have 25, 30, 50, 100. Lord, let your average man know that, and let's see how long it'll take you to run out of bullets. Huh? So let's go through a few things because Mr. Z has some of these things. Okay. All right. So what do we know? We know already that 62% of black women are single. We know this already. 62%. Huh? We also know that 45% of women writ large are single. Something like 45%. And when we say that, we really mean not married, right? Not married. Some with children, some without children, but not married. Right? A good chunk of those women without children also, by the way. We know that women file for something like 70 to 80% of divorces. So let's pause right here. I'm going to say this again, but I want to say this now. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams for emphasizing, and y'all heard Mr. Z say this before, that it's the women that are scaring their children. Y'all are the ones that are scarring the children. You're scarring the women with the strong, independent talk. Don't depend on a man. Don't be at the mercy of a man. You're scarring the girls that become women with that type of rhetoric. Then you're scarring your sons with all of the men. Shout out to Fannie Willis. Men are not a plan. Men are a companion type of talk. And and the Chrissies of not Chrissy, sorry, and the Real Talk with Yannies of the world are scarring their nieces with the what's the incentive type of talk. And I want to be kept women of leisure. Shout out to the African sister in Britain, and then Real Talk with Yanni who took that and ran with it. Dear women, You are the one scarring the kids. You're scarring the girls and you're scarring the boys. You wonder why they can't couple up, because whatever you got going on, whatever insane, delusional, hypergamous aspirations you had that weren't met, you scar the children and the girls and the boys with your resentment at their fathers, at your baby daddy, at your ex-husband, at the guy that got away. You're the one scarring the kids, ladies. You. And shout out to black women in specific by thinking you're going to raise your son to be everything his father wasn't in your mind. No, all you do is scare the crap out of your son. You either turn him LGBTQ or he coming home with a non-black girl. Oops, you're bad. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Shout out to all you black women who think you're doing something special. No, let me tell you what you're doing. Your son's coming home with another dude, maybe even white. Oops. Or he coming home with a non-black girl. Huh? What did Kodak say when he made that colorist ass comment? Let's go into that. Y'all want to go into it? Fine. What did he say? Lighter skinned women are easier to what? Essentially to break, to mold. They're more controllable. Think about now. That's a very crude and hood ass way to say what? They're more, wait a minute, Miss Sabrina Springs, wait for it. They're more pliant. Y'all think you could get away from it. You can't get away from it, Miss Sabrina Springs. Shout out to you, Chrissy. Them white guys saying the same thing. That's why they messing with them Asian girls. Oops. Y'all have decades where y'all have been the primary, almost by yourself, primary raisers of the children. Z, why you said it like that? It sounds weird. I said it the way I meant it. Huh? I don't want to say primary caregivers. No, raisers of the children. Growers of the children. And your sons still want what they want. The boys still want what they want, Miss Sabrina Springs. And it's not just a black man thing. That's why them white dudes ain't messing with y'all like that. Oops. Huh? So shout out to Coach Greg Adams for emphasizing the point. It is the women that are scaring the crap out of the kids, that are scarring the kids. You would think that, especially in the black community, a bunch of boys that become men that are raised by single mothers, you would think women would have raised them perfectly to be perfect little minions to girls and to black girls in specific. And all you do is scar the hell out of the boys. Then wonder why your son come home holding the Latina or the white girl, or if he could get them, if he could outfight and outbox the white dudes, a Asian chick, a Asian young lady, woman or girl. Huh? Yeah. So, and continuing, we know that if a marriage ends, it's usually the woman that files for divorce at some 70 to 80%. Right? So the marriage that becomes divorce, it is a woman that filed for divorce something like 70 to 80%. We know that 26% of poor Americans are married, 39% of working class Americans are married, and 56% of 56% of middle class and above Americans are married. So let's say that again, because Mr. Z kind of fumbled saying that. 26% of poor Americans, 39% of working class Americans, and 56% of middle class and above Americans are married. Right? That's what we know. Huh? That's what we know. Mr. Z is explaining how we get to the death spiral. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Shout out to BGS. Sante Negro, Sante Negro, Sante Negro. if y'all notice, and let's pause right here, Mr. Z has no problem, and shout out to the brothers. I come up with my own stuff. I review my other people's videos, but shout out to y'all. I have no problem backing up good ideas, or when people are emphasizing a point, I have no problem, you know, being behind them and being like, yeah. I have no problem being the third person to say something or the fourth person to say something and emphasize the point, right? Especially if I think you're on the right side of history. If I think that you're making a great point, Mr. Z, my pride ain't built like that, right? My ego is not built like, oh yeah, no, he covered it. I don't want to cover it again. Yeah. Nope. Right. And so shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Yes, if we have to paint a sobering, maybe depressing, possibly doomerish picture for everyone, so be it. Thank you, Saints here, exactly. And another thing, right? Exactly. Right. We know that right now the birth rate in South Korea is some 0.7. So for those of you that don't know, those of you that are not informed, you need 2.1 children per woman to at least break even in your population. So to maintain your population, you need 2.1 children. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. You need 2.1 children per woman to maintain your population. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. So we know in South Korea, their current birth rate is 0.7. In Japan, it's something like 1.4. So 1.4 in Japan, 0.7 in South Korea, right? We know across Western Europe, it's under 2.0. Across Eastern Europe, it looks even worse, right? It's under 2.0 again. We know in America, it's 1.6. And for the black community in America, it's something like 1.7, 1.8. Huh? We need to emphasize what this is going to mean. So shout out to Coach Greg Adams, exactly, emphasizing what this means for our society writ large. This is a death spiral. And where we are right now, this might not be where, well, it's pretty much not something that we can recover from. And we're only digging ourselves into a hole even more. It's not just the economy. I want to, let's pause right here, actually, because I'm about to go to a dead zone. Y'all give me 1 second. And we're back. I want to emphasize this because I hear us speaking about the economy when we speak about the lowering birth rate and the population collapse, et cetera, et cetera. This is more than just your economy. The more people you have, the more likely you are to produce that next inventor. The more likely you are to produce the person that cures cancer, right? The more likely you are to produce the next great Olympian to break Usain Bolt's record or Michael Phelps' record, right? The more likely you are to produce the person that creates the technology to make us a multi-planetary species. Huh? It's not just about the economy, right? I also want to emphasize something that Coach Greg Adams was saying when he was speaking about partners, and what BGS was speaking about when we were speaking about partners. Women, we don't believe you. Men are heterosexual men are not looking for air quotes partners. First, we're not LGBTQ. Secondly, the vast majority of us are not business owners. What do you mean by partner? And CGA said it. They think when they say partner, they're putting themselves in a position where they can't be air quotes controlled, right? They think they're doing something special by saying partner, right? And so partner has a bunch of different definition. One associated with another, especially in action, a person with whom one shares an intimate relationship, right? One member of a couple, either either of two persons, one of two or more persons who play together in a game against opposing side. There's definitely different definitions of partner, right? And that's the point, isn't it? A member of a partnership, especially in business, one of okay, that definition doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, so this goes back to what Mr. Z's, and so this is what I emphasize. So this is where Mr. Z comes in, pause, right? Which is, yeah, exactly. It's ambiguous enough that women can use the term partner and hopscotch in between what they mean. This is where Mr. Z comes in with patriarchy by feminist specifications. Which definition of partner are we using today? Which definition of partner are we using right now? Huh? Exactly. And Dr. Thunder says partnership slash 50-50 relationship means women controls relationship. Right? And in case of emergency, break glass, man come kill this roach that I just saw in the kitchen. In case of emergency, break glass. Oh, you're the man. Something went bump in the night. Go downstairs and go see what it is. Huh? Even though it's my house and I run it, even though you pay the mortgage. Huh? Yeah. And young men said, we're not having any of that. Dear women, we do not believe you with this partnership talk. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams for saying it. Shout out to BGS for saying it. We do not believe you when you say partnership. Say what you really mean. Patriarchy by feminist specifications. Say what you really mean. On and off feminism. On and off patriarchy. No one believes you, ladies, when y'all say partnership. Huh? Thank you, Passport OG. Partner, one who is expected to pay all the expenses without authority unless said partner is a woman. Huh? Trell says, partner, ambiguously same-sex gay duo. Right? And ambiguously same-sex duo is how I should have said it. We're not buying this partnership language. That's another reason why we're at a death spiral. That's another reason why your sons are not signing up for these. Shout out to Trell. That's a genius comment. That's another reason why your sons are not signing up for these ambiguous same-sex loving duo relationships. That partner talk. We're not signing up for that. Right? I want a situation where he's not insecure about my career and my success, right? Where it's not hierarchical. We're not signing up for that, ladies. We're not. right? Because in the fine print is, I want a man that earns significantly more than me, because that's the only way my Johnny could get wet, unless he's 6'7", which, by the way, I still want that too. And he got to be charismatic, orgasms on demand, don't make demands of me, let me do what I want and subsidize it. Yeah, that sounds about equally yoked. That sounds about, yeah, that's about it. Have more status than me, but play it down. Speak highly of me everywhere we go. That's when I want him to speak, of course. This is Dr. Thunder. This is exactly what men are on. I don't want a partner, I want a wife. They also think when they say partner, that allows for them to not have to play the wife role. And men said, yeah, about that. Huh? See, wife sounds too stringent. It sounds too structured. Huh? I don't have enough wiggle room, giggity, with wife. Huh? It sounds hierarchical. Huh? Dr. Thunder says, service my sexual needs, but don't expect sex in return. Exactly. Exactly. Right? Which sounds like a whole lot of munching. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like that's all going down in that bedroom. There's a whole lot of munching. Right? And the occasional missionary, probably not doggy style. That way she don't have to look you in the eye. Right? Exactly. And Indigo says her roles are always negotiable and subject to change. Men are not signing up for that. Dear women, your sons are watching you. And no matter how much, because we definitely see this in the black community, no matter how much y'all raise them and socialize them to eat women's crap, they're not doing it. Your sons are dear. It's frightening to say this to women, and they swear, okay, well, if our sons are watching us, we'll just raise them to overlook and ignore our effery and the girls that are their age effery. Y'all been on that, dear black community, especially, y'all been on that for like 6 decades. Longer, 6 decades. Y'all have been able to raise the boomers, the Xers, and by the way, women have more and more control the more you go down in generation. The boomers, the Xers, the millennials, and the Gen Z, y'all have had access to the boys almost unfettered for at least 4 generations. At least 4. And Gen Z and young millennials are boys, and the men are saying, yeah, about that. They're even worse than the boomers and the Xers and the oldest of millennials. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams that paid the young lady that said, when did you realize you lost your partner, your male partner, your male partner? I think I threw up in my mouth. When did you realize you lost your male partner? When did you realize you lost your male partner to manosphere content? Oh boy. Lady, the boys and the men always felt like something was wrong. All men, by the way, once again, let's emphasize this. They come seeking us. Pause. Your boys and your men, they come seeking us. They're looking for us. They already realize that something's not right. Something about the way my mom is moving is not right. Something about the way my aunt speaks is not right. Something about the way the girls are speaking to me and acting is not right. What was that show that Dr. Thunder, not Dr. Thunder, sorry Dr. Thunder. What was that show that Dr. T covered maybe a couple of months ago where the women have this type of like electrical power or something like that? What was the name of that show? If those of you recall, on the show, the son. Oh, y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back, right? And we're back. Yeah. So the show that Dr. T was reviewing or referencing, and he had maybe one or two other people on with him, and the women had this type of like power that men didn't have, right? And a part of the show, if I recall correctly, Dr. T was speaking about the young man, the boy on the show, was saying to his dad, like, look at the way they speak to us, look at the way they act. And it's very interesting that that boy said that on the show because the young men are saying that, right? The young men are saying that. I want to emphasize this again. It, dear women, your sons are watching you. You can't get away from it. White women, Latina women, black women especially, I'm not so sure about Asian women. They swear they're going to participate in this effery and then raise their sons to ignore it or raise their sons that this is normal. That's not what happens, ladies. That's why your white sons are going after Asian women and some Latina women, mainly white Latinas. Your black sons are going after white women and Asian women. Your Latino sons are going after white women, or they're going back home, back to Mexico, back to Guatemala, right? Back to Nicaragua to go find some woman in the bush. Your African first gen or immigrant women are going back home to Africa to go find some women in the bush. Your Americanized Middle Eastern first and second gen men are going back to Afghanistan or Jordan or name them, Iraq, right? Syria to go once again go find some woman in the bush, right? Your Chinese men are trying to once again. I'm talking about Chinese American men, first and second gen, trying to go back home to go find some woman in the bush, huh? Dear ladies, it's insane because you have control over the families, and so you think you are raising your sons to be okay with boss hog a-hole women, and all you do is scar your daughters and your sons, huh? That's all you do. You scar the boys and you scar the girls. Rabia told y'all she was one of five daughters, and all of them are over the age of 30, and all of them are single. And I'm assuming that her sisters look a lot like her, and Rabia is cute. 36 year old woman, probably from east side of Africa, probably eastern, yeah, east side of Africa, probably, right? Attractive young lady, 36 years old, single. Four other female siblings, women siblings, and they're all single. 5 black women. I'm assuming living in America. Assuming. Huh? Is she Eritrean? Harambe says Eritrean. Is she? Name it. That's one of your peoples. Single. Your mom had 5 daughters, and her 5 daughters are single. All of them over the age of 30. Huh? No, Naima says Rabia is most likely Sudanese or Somali. Harambe says nope, actually, she's probably Eritrean, right? Ladies, y'all have control of the families. And what are you producing exactly with your scarred, hurt, white man worshiping asses? Huh? What are you producing but middle management women who worship at the altar of elite rich white men? Yeah, y'all know Mr. Z had to bring that in, and that train's never late. Huh? What are you producing but hyper consumerist women? Whether that woman is white, black, Latina, Asian, what are y'all producing? Indigenous? And then you think you're going to raise your sons to be what? The hyper producer for your daughters? And how's that been working for the past 6 decades? Huh? So KMS says, and thank you for super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. KMS says, women utilize the lion's share of social programs funded by the state and federal monies backed by the tax base, which is paid by the citizens. They're not having. Noose. Oh, hello, knife. What are you doing here, Noose? Hello, knife. What are you doing here exactly? They're not doing the social math, KMS. I'm emphasizing that the women are holding the society hostage because they're throwing a temper tantrum or throwing temper tantrums that elite rich white men like Gary Marsh, former CFO of Disney, sold them on materialism and consumerism. And now they have middle management positions and they're living a bit of what they want, but not really. And so it's up to us as men to subsidize them so they can really live that Disney fairy tale life that Gary Marsh sold them back in the. And when I say Gary Marsh, read all these type of rich elite white men that sold them this lifestyle in the 80s and the 90s and the early aughts. That's why Chrissy could say what she says. That's why Real Talk with Yanni could say what she says. That's why Mahogany Pink could say what she says. That's why Cynthia G could say what she says. Let me go through what those women have said. Real Talk with Yanni. I want to be a kept woman of leisure. And what's the incentive? Chrissy. Well, that's why I tell average and below average looking black women, if you can't date hypergamously, then it's best that you be alone. And I don't care. I don't care. Okay. Next, Mahogany Pink at the end of her Myth of Black Love. Was it 1 or 2? It was either 1 or 2 where she shows, and this lets you know some of these women they understand the environment. She shows the pending economic devastation, right? And so that video, what are we in 2024? That think piece came out in what, 2021, maybe 2022? And she says, essentially, all these other women, non-black women, are going to air quotes settle. I'm paraphrasing what she was saying in the sentiment that she was trying to forward here. They're going to air quotes settle as the environment gets harsher. Black women, we need not to settle. We need to stay on our square and emphasize the standard. So that's Mahogany Peak. Cynthia G. Yeah, the black community should be destroyed. If the black community is not going to dance to the tune of women like me, yeah, it should be destroyed. Uh-oh. Huh? And Trail Billy says Gary Marshall. I don't know if his last name was Marshall or Marsh, but Anyway, Gary Marshall, Penny Marshall's brother, who executive produced 60% of 90 sitcoms. Oh boy. Huh? They're not doing the social math, KMS. They're not. They're not. The women aren't doing the social math. The technocrats are like, oh crap. And what are we going to do? I don't know. Y'all had control of this for the past 6 decades. Look at what y'all helped to produce. The feminist technocrats. Look at what this is your baby. Shout out to all the feminist technocrats. This is your baby. Now what? Uh-oh. Huh? Anne Marie Slaughter already told y'all they reached the max capacity. About 15% of these superpower couples and these women who got like all the money in the world and they can go it on their own, the Ebony K. Williams of the world. The max is about 15%. That's it. Everybody else got to couple up. Everyone else, dear women, you got to be okay with earning more than your husband, than your long-term boyfriend, than your baby daddy. And the women are collectively are saying, yeah, no. Huh? Dear Dr. Richard Reeves, the men are saying, the boys are saying, yeah, we're not. What he said, the power of choice, right? And he the exit power. Yeah, men are not signing up for no damn women that want to exercise exit power every 5 seconds. We're not signing up for that. So let the population go down to the dumps then. Huh? Oh, and Terrell says, no, I was asking if that was who you were referencing. No, I don't think so. Yeah, Gary Marsh and Gary Marshall are probably two different people, right? If I'm not mistaken, Gary Marsh was the CFO. I guess we'll do the studying right now. Yeah, Gary Marsh of Disney, and let's look that up while we talk. We can do the research right now, right? Um. Oh, president of Disney. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gary Marsh. Yeah, president of Disney Channel Worldwide. Yeah, I'm not sure if he still is. We're about to find out right now. And y'all give Z 1 second. See, we'll do the research right now. Is he still? And promoted to president. Oh no, now he is. In 2005, he was promoted to President Entertainment at Disney Channel Worldwide. Yeah, it looks like he still might be. That's what it's looking like. I'm not sure, but he was promoted. It looks like he was CFO before, and then now he's the president. Give me a second. Let's see if we can find more about him. I'm not finding out too much. Yeah, in 99 was promoted to executive vice president, and in '01 Marsh assumed the role of executive vice president of original programming and production of Disney Channel. And what else we got here? Da-da-da-da. In 2005, he was promoted to president of entertainment, Disney Channel Worldwide in '09. Yep, 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 yep. In 2021, Marsh made an overall deal with Disney. What does that even mean? Right? Huh. And that is the guy, everyone. That is the guy that has the minds and men like that. And when I say his name, read elite rich white men like him, right? Gary Marsh and men like him dance a tune. Well, excuse me, create the tune that your daughters dance to, right? And no, you didn't have to necessarily have cable inside, but you know there's going to be some obtuse ass person, women, black women. Well, we didn't even have cable in my house. I didn't even watch TV like that. That's not the point, right? So yeah, KMS there and not doing the math. The women aren't doing the math, and apparently the technocrats have been asleep at the wheel, or they thought they knew what they were doing and they didn't do. Mr. Z is a community college dropout. Everyone, I am a community college dropout. How did I not see this coming? And I'm only what, late 30s. How did I see this coming? How did BGS see this coming in the 90s? Shout out to BGS when he says he had that conversation with those two black people. I guess they were like technocrats or like in the know, and like, yeah, we're gonna empower the women, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. How did BGS know what this was gonna be? What, 30 years ago, and y'all didn't? And then you wonder why the tinfoil squad says, yeah, they're trying to decrease the population. You wonder where these conspiracy theories come from. What other conclusion can people draw when they're like, wait a minute, so y'all empowered the women, cool. Human history tells us that women are insanely hypergamous. Okay, cool. Y'all didn't try to regulate the hypergamy. No. Okay, on the other end, not only did you not try to regulate the hypergamy, cool. Okay, fine. You didn't even try to socialize the girls that would become women to understand the power that's going to come with said money and status and upward mobility, and to socialize them, if y'all want to use the word quote unquote partner, to partner up with men who earn less than them. You didn't even socialize them to partner up with those men and to stay married to those men. So no wonder the conspiracy theorists talk the way they do. What other conclusions should they draw? See what I'm saying, Toya? And shout out to Toya, who says you can't multiply by zero. Exactly. Right? Who said? Right? Exactly, Toya. That's a great comment. Shout out to Nameless Protagonist, wherever you are. Yeah, Nameless, they multiplied by zero. They stay apparently are technocrats, right? Western technocrats, American technocrats stay multiplying by zero, especially when it comes to relationships between men and women. Huh? Can't we get to 100 by multiplying by zero? I'm pretty sure we can get to 100 by multiplying by zero. I'm pretty sure. Huh? And once again, KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Els Active says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Els Active says, your passport is your license to export yourself or indulge in wife/girlfriend arbitrage, if you can, and enjoy the decline. Are you saying Els Active, get the hell up out of here? Go find a woman in the bush. Shout out to Hot Sauce and to Black Uru. The funniest thing in the world. Shout out to the Raj Report. If y'all not subscribed to the Raj Report, I don't know what y'all doing. Right? I guess the last vestige of women that more than likely will play wife duties are they're in countries all around the planet, in the bush, preferably without a cell phone, or at least without constant Wi-Fi access, without a television, right? With rolling blackouts, right? So you got to go find your Indian woman in India, in the bush, any one of the African countries in the bush, Middle Eastern women in the bush, East or South Asian women, generally speaking, in the bush, women from Latin America, whether that's the Caribbean or the continent of South America, in the bush, in North America, I don't know, on some reservation somewhere, or BFE, Alabama, Mississippi somewhere, right? Wyoming somewhere, in the bush, practically, I guess, the American version of in the bush, right? Els Active says, indeed, branch out. Right? Huh. And Better Use says, if they not sub to Roger, they are towing the line. They ain't ready to be habitual line steppers. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Better You. Right? Shout out to Coach Greg Adams and BGS. What they said, yeah, Mr. Z behind them, right? I don't know how tall Coach Greg Adams is, but I think BGS is taller than me. Mr. Z's 5'9". So I'm behind them like, yeah, what they said. Right? And Terrell says, is it pun intended in the bush? I didn't think about that. Let me see. Could I turn that into a pun? I could turn it into a pun. But in Africa, in the bush. Yeah, I guess, yeah, you could say that. Yes. Yeah. We'll go with it. Right? Because look at Japan, y'all. I guess you could play the foreigner game as a brother if you were to go to Japan. Definitely, if you're a white dude, you could clean up because you're white. Look at South Korea, right? All across Western Europe, Eastern Europe. Talk about Mouse Utopia. Talk about Calhoun, right? Shout out to the Roger Report. Exactly, Harambe. And Harambe says UOF, unwanted old feminist. Credit to Roger. Exactly. Okay, and Nemesis, Coach Greg Adams is no taller. He's like 5'8", 5'9". Okay. All right. And once again, L's active. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And a Split Jim says, partner. I'm telling you, a Split Jim. I'm telling you, men ain't hearing this partner talk, this ambiguous, nebulous ass partner talk. Partner? What you mean, business partner? Women don't want that. I promise you, they don't want what it looked like for real. Not on men's end anyway. Maybe they could operate like that, but they don't want men that operate like that. Not in no intimate relationship with a woman. Huh? Dear women, your sons are watching. They're listening to you. Your nephews are watching. They're listening to you. They hear when you say partner, and then they see how you move. Your sons are not signing up for it. They're not. Huh? With your insane, hypergamous, unchecked nature. Huh? Lorenzo Jones, no, I'm not missing them. I'm just moving slow on the super chats. I'm not. I see your super chat. It's next. I see it. Right. But let me read it now. Let me read it now. Let me read it now. Okay. And Torenzo Jones says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Torenzo Jones says, females have been Harley Quinn hysterical. The multicolored clown face reps all races, and each color also reps their dysfunctions. Something has been wrong for years. Oh, decades. Not even years, decades. Right. And yes, the ladies are more apt to follow trends. We see that with the bonnets, we see that with the lashes, we see that with the fake baby hair, right? We see that, like you said, the Harley Quinn makeup that all these white women and even a couple of black women and Latina and Asian women, but definitely white women were on after the Squad movie, whatever the hell. After that DC movie, look how many women, namely white women, did their best rendition of Harley Quinn, which is, right? Especially for Halloween, wearing their best 304 costume with the weirdo makeup. right? Put it in the book, Harambe. Dear women, your sons are watching. Put it in the book, right? Think about how many single black mothers have raised their sons. They're right, but they're missing something crucial when they say, I'm a single black mother, and I did the best I could to raise my son from a boy to a man. Okay, fine. Which you're missing, in other than the father, but what you're missing is your son was watching you. Forget your words. Your son was watching you, huh? He listened to you. He listened to the way you would speak about men. He listened to you talking about hiding money from his father. He watched you try to stick his dad every single time his dad got a raise, going back to the child support office to get a couple of pennies just to spite his dad. The boys are watching, and no matter what, because women, this is what women think they're doing. They think they're raising the boys to overlook it. Dear ladies, as a millennial who has a number of friends my same age raised by single mothers, which you think you doing, you not doing. You think you raising your sons to ignore that ish. They are not ignoring it. All you're doing is scarring the hell out of them. Huh? And we'll pause right here. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm about to go through a dead zone. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back. And Terenzo Jones also says, I learned it from watching you, Gen X. I learned it from watching you. I'm telling you. Juvenile told y'all she got it from her mama. That's what Juvenile said, right? He had a whole song talking about she got it from her mama. That's what he said, right? Like 20 plus years ago, that's what he said, right? Huh. Does that not say anything? This death spiral, shout out to Coach Greg Adams, is not the function of what men are and are not doing. Not by and large, train tracks, train tracks, train tracks, right? This is what happens when elites and technocrats think they know what they're doing and mess up and fumble the bag. Social math, all type of wrong, unless, once again, the tinfoil hat men that think y'all did this on purpose are right. Huh? Unless they're right. Now there's a bunch of people that'll be like, no, I don't know about that, Z. Are you sure about that? Because this weird type of Darwinism thing y'all got going on, let's see if it works. Huh? And all of this women focusing on their career. I saw that clip also from Coach Greg Adams, where the women are saying, what these women are focusing on their careers, and then the men are essentially becoming more recluse. Yeah, our society told us that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And so most of the young men, most of the men, not Z, but most of the men are saying, well, I don't got nothing nice to say. This is all type of messed up. I guess I won't say anything. Yeah, they're not. You told them that everything they said is some type of sexist understanding of what's going on. So they're not saying anything. They're leaving women to their own devices, and y'all hate it. Don't y'all hate it? Because what you really meant was protect, provide, and shut up. That's what you really meant. Huh? And so the men are leaving you to your own devices. But they're taking away their resources while they're doing it. And don't that chap your ass because the average woman don't earn enough. Shout out to South Korea, Exhibit A. Right? Right? And y'all gives you 1 second. Tried to tell you, but your dumbass. I'm watching. For those of you, you know, yeah, regular streams. By the way, right? I'm in a let's just say I'm in a cramped driving space, and someone came out to stop me. There's an 18-wheeler was bending a corner, right? So I guess the passenger jumped out, you know, to stop me to make sure that they could take that wide ass turn, and the car behind me just zoomed past and messed up the traffic. Dumbass. I ain't even gonna tell y'all the gender of the sex of the driver, but of course, at least it wasn't black. Huh? So continuing, what else do we have here? Because I want to make sure Mr. Z does not miss any. Right? But yeah, that partner talk. The partner talk that men aren't signing up for because we know y'all don't really mean it, ladies. We know y'all don't really mean it. We're watching you not really mean it. Right? And exactly a split, Jim. Partner. Bleh. They swear they saying something by saying partner. First of all, when did this become in vogue? Do women even appreciate where they got the word partner from for it to be in style the way it is? And y'all don't appreciate what men hear when we hear partner. This ambiguous ass word y'all want to use so that you don't have to play a role, a set role. Fine, don't play the set role and watch the men say, shrugs. Shout out to Corey Holcomb. What Corey Holcomb said? He went on a date and the girl was like, none for you tonight. No, none from you tonight. Shout out to all the women that think they pulling that stunt. Shout out to all of you Western women or women in developed nations. Shout out to all you Chinese women. Shout out to all of you that think you're pulling that stunt. None for you tonight. No, none from you tonight. And that's what men are saying. Huh? All you women that think you holding your communities hostage, holding the society hostage, holding the nation, the economies hostage, which are none for you tonight. Because y'all didn't make me rich or elite white women. Because you want to live the Disney fairy tale princess lifestyle. Shout out to the Chinese women. Oh, I have to have a condo, and I have to have a car, and I have to have an allowance. Or none for you tonight. All right. And the Chinese men said, no, none from you. Bring in the immigrants. Or, right? Let me go be a passport, bro. Same thing black men are saying. Same thing white men are saying. Huh? Red Falls Black says, no, not even none from you tonight. And none for you tonight. No, he says, none for you forever. Right? Better use his partner is better than my person. Oh boy, that my person crap. This LGBTQ ambiguous don't mean anything ass language. And women just adopt, oh, this is the new word. Okay, I'll use it. Not questioning where the word comes from or why we're using this word, what this word means. Just I heard academic use the word, so I guess this is the word. Huh? I heard somebody of quote unquote importance use this word, so I guess this is the word. Partner. Yawn. So now they're all saying partner. What did that lady said? Your male partner. She didn't say man. She didn't say men. She didn't say husband. She didn't say boyfriend. She said, for those of you women who lost your male partner to manosphere language or manosphere content or whatever, she said manosphere whatever. She said male partner, and she wonders why that woman quote unquote lost her man to this type of content. Lady, you're saying male partner. That's that's half the reason. You said male partner. You said male. Let's do that again. Let's split, Jim. She said male partner. You said male partner, and you wonder why these women are air quotes losing their men, their quote unquote male partner to this type of content. You said male partner. You didn't say man. What type of LGBTQ language? No, Z, you're the one projecting LGBTQ on it. It's not LGBTQ. Look at the definitions of partner. It says couple. Huh? Yeah, the definition have how many other definitions? And exactly. Ambiguous, nebulous don't mean nothing ass language. Which is exactly the type of relationship y'all want, because once again, patriarchy by feminist specifications. 1 foot in and 1 foot out, hopscotching between feminism and patriarchy. That's exactly why y'all like that word. The LGBTQing of the black community, the queering of the black community, the queering of relationships writ large, heterosexual relationships. And that's exactly, shout out, who said it? Queer your relationships, right? When they were talking about heteropessimism, I got to do a part 2 to that. Queer your relationships. If you want to know, ma'am, why these women are, air quotes, losing their male partners to manosphere content, because we question that this type of language is the language we should be using, and these type of sentiments and feelings about heterosexual relationships are the ones that we should have. Because if I show you what that means on the end of men, y'all ain't gonna like it. You're already experiencing it. Oops. Why don't these men open doors anymore? Oh, there we go. Y'all wanted the queering of relationships. You forgot. You're not doing the social math, ladies. See, you want the queering of the heterosexual relationship on your end, not on the men's end. Ooh, there's a pun in there. Do you really want the queering of the relationship? Once we start telling you to date bisexual men, do you still want the queering of relationships? Oops. Oh, yeah, Mr. Z can get real ugly with it. Huh? What happened to all you straight women and dating bisexual men? Huh? Queer your relationships. Huh? What happened to trans men? Ooh, Z. Ooh, you fighting dirty, Z. Huh? Ladies, if I tell you to date trans men, what happened? Trans men are real men, aren't they? Isn't that what Irving told us? Women, y'all need to raise your sons that trans women are real women. Okay, are trans men real men? And how many straight women are going to sign up for that? Ole tried to tell y'all. Huh? Queer your relationships, right? No, all right, fine. Queer our relationships. Queer our relationships mean you should be perfectly okay with ending up with a man that earns significantly less than you. Huh? Because if we're queering our relationships, that means hypergamy's out the window, right? Huh? Partner, right? Partner means there's no roles, there's no defined roles because you're not a wife. Like you're married, but you're not playing the wife role. Fine, he don't have to play the husband role. Queer our relationships, partner talk. Y'all want to use ambiguous language so you don't have to play your role? Fine, we could both play that game. That's what happened when you don't play the social math game. See, the ladies, they're not. I'm telling y'all, I have real conversations with them. Family members, not family members, random women. Mr. Z is Mr. I'm telling y'all, for me, this is not just an internet conversation. This is not just social media crap, right? The over-indexing and the over-emphasis on intimate relationships. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Like he said, we're going to have content forever. You see what I'm saying? Saint Cyr? Yep. Partner equal no defined roles. Pay that mortgage, shorty. Exactly. Pay that mortgage. Y'all want to play the ambiguous game? We could play that ambiguous game. Partner, right? And Split Jim, once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Torenzo Jones, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right? Y'all want to play the partner game? We could play the partner game. You just not gonna like what it looks like on your end. And no pun, well, pun intended on that one. You're not gonna like what it looks like on your end. Or Mr. Z said that wrong. You're not gonna like what it looks like on the men's end. Huh? Exactly, Trell. This isn't real life. Go touch your ass. Yeah, that's it. Right? They're not doing the social math. They don't think they should have to. And then when they're met with the consequences of the things they advocate for, or they allow bitter feminists to advocate for, or elite rich white men who have somewhat insulated themselves from much of the consequences, when they just let those people run amok and then they have to deal with the consequences, then they look at us like, what happened? Why aren't these men opening doors anymore? I was at my car at the grocery store and I was struggling to put my groceries in the trunk, and so many men just walked past me and did nothing. Y'all said queering of relationships. That means platonic relationships also. That means the relationship between men writ large and women writ large, including in public. So yeah, we see you 115 pounds and you struggling to put this thing in your trunk. Oh well. What happened to the real gentlemen? Y'all don't produce those anymore. Huh? Y'all said partnership. Huh? Y'all said queer your relationships. That's what you said. Well, let me show you what queer your relationships look like in public. No, it's not just intimate relationship between one individual man and one individual woman. No, not queer just your intimate relationships. No, queer your relationships. That means the relationship between men writ large and women writ large. You can open that door by yourself. Let me let this door slam in your face. No, you got it. You can lift that bag into the luggage compartment on the airplane by yourself. Don't worry, you got it. Huh? Shout out to Dr. Richard Reeves. On one of the interviews, he said, these roles that we kind of took away to show that women can do it on their own, we need to bring some of these roles back. No. Huh? Nope. That's, by the way, that's the play right now. The play is for that men young men can still play this kind of societal man role without being really men. F that, nope, nope. Can we get your masculinity and your manhood at a discount? By the way, I'm only saying this way right now in front of you because like we're not using man and manhood and masculinity like that anymore. Not concerning actual men. Like actual men can be masculine. Trans men could be masculine. Women could be masculine, right? Girls could be masculine, but not actual like heterosexual straight men. But okay, listen. How can we get your masculinity for no money, no investment? How can we do that? You can't. Shout out to you, Dr. Richard Reeves. You can't. That's what the boys and the men are telling you. You cannot. The society will invest in its sons. It will invest in the men. It will invest in the boys. Or just watch your daughters. You should have never gave me this word. Founder. Watch your daughters sink. Huh? Watch them live the Golden Girls life. Huh? Watch more and more of them become munches. Watch more and more of them engage in being side chick number 17 to a rich man. Watch more and more of them have no children. Watch more and more of them claim to be the quote unquote rich auntie. Barely stable auntie. Huh? And Trell says, I need a real woman so that I can rest in my masculinity. Right? I think Trell and Better You been talking behind the scenes, but that's definitely a Better You ass comment. Right? You probably beat him to the punch. You probably was trying to type that out. You probably beat him. Right? Man. Ooh, Mr. Shik to You says you can roll half this stuff back by insisting that women pay for all the dates until sex happens, since they are the ones that want the dates. Oh man. Better You said, damn sure did. Charles, you beat Better You to the punch. I'm telling you. I was like, that is definitely a Better You ass comment. Right? But here's the thing, though, Mr. Shook to You. The women would act like they don't care for the dates. They're doing us a favor because their time is so precious. They're doing us a favor by being in our presence for the date. Huh? That's their flex. That's women's flex. They're doing us a favor. Think about when we talk about women paying for the date or men paying for the dates, and women like, well, do you know how long it takes me to put on the makeup, and do you understand how long? And like, I gotta get ready, and I gotta put on my cologne, I gotta do my makeup, and I gotta put my lashes on. We didn't ask for the lashes. And then put on my fake baby hair. We did not ask for the fake baby hair, right? And I beat my face. Ooh, there's a pun in there, right? And put on my waist trainer. You mean your girdle? These new words for old ass things. You mean your girdle? It's not the same, Z. It's not exactly the same. Okay, all right. Right. So yeah, Mr. Shook to You, they would speak as if they're doing you a favor. They're not the ones who really seek the date. You're seeking the date to, right? What did the young lady say on that interview? That she's dating these men that are so much lower than her in her position, and yet she's still giving them a chance, right? They're doing you a favor. Their arrogance knows no bounds, bro. They're doing you a favor by being in your presence, or better yet, They're doing you a favor by you being in their presence. Better uses, man. I had one take that waist trainer off and all the curves vanished. Bro, I know what I'll be saying. I'm telling y'all. I know what I'm saying. Right? The issue we have is not women's nature, everyone. Women's nature has been women's nature for the past 300,000 years, 250,000 years. It's not the issue. It's the issue is you have an environment now that doesn't curtail it for the betterment of the society. You have an environment now, shout out to Black Uru, where women have been liberated into madness. This is not even about keeping women, air quotes, in bondage, right? This is about a society that understands women's proclivities by and large, men's proclivities by and large, and creates an environment that's the most conducive for men and women coupling up, getting married, having children in nuclear family, having enough, just enough children to continue your population stably, right? But the problem is that women have been liberated into madness. Once again, shout out to Black Uru. And it's disrupting the entire social fabric of this society, right? Huh. Uh-oh. Indigo says, Indigo remixed the Martin Luther King quote, and he says, damn, let me find out they got integrated into a burning house. Huh? I said it when I reviewed, and I'm actually going to put that in my community chat for those of you who are more recent to me and those of you that want to re-listen to it. I'm going to go down and find my the stream I did where Dr. Richard Reeves, in his academic way, essentially told the women, yeah, you signed the Faustian bargain with the elite men, whether you realize it or not, the elite rich white men, and this is the cost. The interview that, if y'all never heard the interview that Dr. Richard Reeves did with Ezra Klein, right? So once again, like I said on that live, working class white women, black women, Latina women, and Asian women sold out to elite rich white women who took all the resources and still married a rich white elite men. Huh? And so now these women are essentially being voyeurs, listening and watching these people have sex and enjoy their life and go on trips, and they're being voyeurs, and then they're jealous of it, and then they're demanding that your average man, a little bit above average man, a little bit below average man, provide them the same lifestyle that they sold out to the elite rich white women and the technocrats and upper middle class white women. Y'all sold out to them. You're the one who signed the Faustian bargain, and you want average men to fix it. No. Eat the consequences. Right? Clearly, y'all don't do the social math. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all thought y'all were going to end up with the elite white man? That's what you thought? Okay, yeah. How did that work? It didn't. Right? Research twins, that's hysterical, says going to Ghana to find a woman in the bush. Right? Man. And Eric Deadman says, talking about Dr. Richard Reeves, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Eric Deadman says, Richard Reeves proudly proclaimed that women are exercising, air quotes, exit power. Well, he drastically underestimated men's quote unquote exit power. Men are not on TikTok complaining about dating options. The men threw up the deuces. And even the women are saying that. So for those of you that are listening, don't get it misconstrued. Yeah, there's a black manosphere. Yeah, there's a larger white manosphere or whatever. Don't get it twisted. The young men and the men in general, just like Eric Denman is saying, they're not complaining. They don't like the environment. I'm not saying they don't have a problem with the environment, right? I'm saying by and large, they're not complaining. They're just chucking the deuces. The ones that of them that could afford to be passport bros, that's what they're doing. Many of them are just Jergens lotion and video games. And y'all recall, I covered it. The white woman that said they would much rather have sex with a sex doll and stay home than be with a real woman like me. Yeah, because y'all are insufferable. So let's be very clear. The women are complaining, and the women are complaining that the men are okay being in their mama's house at 40 years old, living the minimalist life, playing video games, talking crap to each other online, going to their job, being able to afford the things they need and some of the things they want. The women are the ones. See, that's why. Listen to what Dr. Richard Reeves said. Real men overproduce. Think about what he's saying and think about what the women are complaining about. The men are no longer overproducing for women and children because, once again, what women and children? Oh, you mean women and children by and large, not his individual woman and child because he doesn't have any. Uh-oh. You cannot tell men that there's a great chance that they're never going to have children, they're never going to get married, but overproduce anyway for everyone else and think they're going to sign up for that. No. By and large, men overproduce for women and children, and then the excess runoff, I said access, sorry, the excess runoff for other women and children. Some women and children that don't have men. That's how that goes. Once again, let me emphasize the point. Mr. Z is a community college dropout. How am I doing the social math? And they're not. Huh? Y'all are not doing the social math. It's clear y'all are not doing the social math. Or you are doing the social math and you're trying to find ways to shame and guilt the men into signing up for something that's not going to benefit them at all. Huh? They're not signing up for it. So going back, Coach Greg Adams, I think, did a great job here. I think BGS following up did a great job. We need to continue to emphasize the death spiral, the lowering birth rate across the planet. We need, and let me pat myself on the back. When I walked in the door of the Black Manosphere, I made sure to emphasize that this is not just simply a quote unquote Black problem. I also, for those of you that remember when Z first got here, emphasized that the population in the Black community is on the decline. Do not get it twisted. Yeah, Keisha from the hood got 5 kids from 4 different dudes, but that is not standard issue Black community. What's going on, by and large, are women are throwing a goddamn temper tantrum in the Black community that they're not rich white women. And so many of them are not having children. They're not getting married. They don't have baby daddies. They're not. For some, they're working their middle management job, making some 60 grand a year, and they're hyper aspirational, right? And they're getting banged out by the lead attorney, not the actual lead attorney in this space, but the lead attorney at their firm, and they're the side chick because that lead attorney is married, and they're the side chick to the lead attorney, right? They're the side chick to the lead attorney. And they have dreams and aspirations that one day they'll be the wife. A family that prays, everyone. Minus Sanaa and actually being married and actually having a kid. That's what's going on a lot in the Black community. And low-key, the Latin community. These women are having less and less children. They're having situationships with married or single men, and they spend years doing that. I mean, maybe a decade plus, Then they wake up on the other side of 35 like, oh crap, right? So, that patting myself on the back on that one. Yeah, I walked in the door telling y'all, yeah, it ain't what you think. And it's weird when you hear the broken-hearted brothers and they continue, all these women are 304s. And I'm like, yeah, yes, but not all. And it's not what you think. Huh? A nice chunk of these women have it, and I'm glad that Real Talk with Yenny bought it out and you heard a bunch of women back her up. Were some of those women lying? Yes. But a lot of these women are celibate, bro. A nice minority of women haven't had sex in a year plus. 2 and 5 years, 7 years, 15 years. Are all those women lookers? No. But some of them are. Right? So, yes, there are women like what you see on Kendra G that they haven't been in a relationship in 7 and 8 years, but they just got done with some adult fun a week ago, 2 days ago, 5 days ago. Right? Yes, that exists. A minute ago, dude is in the background right now. Yes, that exists. Mr. Z is not saying that doesn't exist. What I'm also saying is there are other women who haven't been on a date in 7 years and who haven't had adult fun in 5 years. Rabia told you she hadn't been in a relationship in a pretty long time. That's what she said. That doesn't mean she's not having adult fun. But she told you she hasn't been in a relationship and she said quite some time. Right? Huh. And Michael Ross says, with the dudesy, almost all of them have some sort of toys. You mean without a dude, they almost all have a toy? I mean, like, this is what I'm saying. I am not saying that women, black women, don't have a situationship or a F buddy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying more than what many of us would like to believe, of them don't have a F buddy. And their Rose toy stay running out of batteries. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a lot, right? I'm saying more than what many of us would like to admit is what I'm saying, Michael Ross. Right? More than some of us would like to believe of women, including black women, have been celibate for years. Right? And I put that squarely on the shoulders of women. I put that squarely on the shoulders of women writ large, black women included, who have scared the crap out of their daughters. I put that squarely on the Real Talk with Yannies with her decenter men campaign. I put that squarely on the shoulders of the Paris Malons with her femicide talk. I'll put that squarely on the shoulders of Chrissy with her. I tell average and below average looking black women that if you can't date hypergamously, it's better you be alone. And I don't care. I don't care. Right? I put that squarely on those women and other women that think, move, and talk just like them. And advocate just like them. Right? And Eric Deadman, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? I put that on their shoulders. Because that's what it is. Right? That's what it is. And when you talk like that and when you advocate like that, and there's young women that listen to you, and you give them this weird complex, right? And relationship PTSD. And that's what it is. It's relationship PTSD. And what's frightening about that is some of these women have relationship PTSD and they haven't even been in no damn real relationship. Imagine that, right? And Jay Everything says maybe we should ask Tyler Perry to change their narrative. Yeah, we can, or we can produce our own stuff like we're doing here, and we should know that Tyler Perry. It's going to be hard because this is the thing. These people have primed women for decades with this men ain't ish talk. Men are particularly black men, right? Black men are predators. Black men are dumb. Black men hurt black women. Black men get off on hurting black women. Black men are colorist, sexist, featurist monsters. Black men are white, patriarchal, aspiring. We, and I say we loosely, not us literally in the black manosphere, but I'm talking about the black community and by a larger extent, white racist society has raised women, particularly black women, and primed them for the type of content, for the type of movies that Tyler Perry produces. So if Tyler Perry was to go off script and start producing more air quotes neutral content or more male friendly content, movies and television shows, I don't know how women would take that. Black women would take that because all they've heard throughout their life is how horrible black men are. And so that's what they literally want to continue to hear that. And for them, that explains to them why they're so single. Right? It's important that we emphasize that these women like to hear how horrible black men are because it explains to them why they're single, why they are single. Thank you, Trill. Black men are the white men of the community. And yes, for those of you that don't know, and you might have missed it, there was an article years ago that came out with that title. Shout out to Trill Bentley, right? Huh? So America and Black America has primed women to hear the femicide talk that Paris Milan was pushing on her channel for years, and the colorist talk that Chrissy has been pushing on her channel for years, right? The the these men are some sexist, colorist, futurist, loser, Neanderthal men who are intimidated by educated, not highly attractive women like me, that I'm gonna say her name, Kim Foster, has been pushing on her channel. Huh? So, speaking to Tyler Perry, that's gonna be difficult because now he got to start biting into his money if he start making those type of movies and those type of television shows. Black women want to hear black man boogeyman stories, man. To the point where they even chasta understand how beautiful of a thing it is to see Simone Biles Owens with her husband, and you see the look in their eyes for each other. You see the look in her eyes for her husband, and to have black women look at her like, you dumb little, you don't understand what he's gonna do to you. He's probably secretly LGBTQ on the DL, or he's gonna one day he's gonna cheat on you. One day he might be physically abusive to you. What To see the look on Simone Biles Owens' face, to see Jonathan Owens, right? Look at how they speak about each other. To see her defend her husband from the mob, they don't see that as a beautiful thing. Because for them, he should be groveling at her feet. It doesn't even matter if she was the one that pursued him initially. The story, him and her should come up with an alternate story about how he pursued her and he told her, look, I couldn't breathe if it wasn't for you. Right? Now, is that the same story for the white couple? And yeah, I see everybody speaking about the other Olympian that has the husband, the white husband that's a amputee. Huh? No, the white man is still a white man, even if he's an amputee. So black women are okay with groveling at his feet. He can say, and they still cringe a little bit, but he at least didn't make it sound like how Joshua Jackson, there you go, see, spoke about Jodie Turner Smith, huh? But even with the way this, they cringe a little bit when white men speak about black women pursuing them, because that's usually how it goes down. Ooh, isn't that what you were about to say a bit, Khadijah, when you reeled yourself back on Ole's channel? Uh-oh, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Right? Khadijah came so close to saying it, and she reeled herself back. Isn't that what you were going to say, Khadijah? Huh? Actually, the white men, they be intimidated. You got to be the one to say, huh? Black women don't want that part getting out because the power dynamic. They don't want the part. This is the thing. Black women forget that you too have the internet and you were raised by them. They forget that you have social media. They forget that the white men are talking also. Huh? So the Simone Bowles Owens is a prime example of the priming of black women with the horrible black men are preying on every black woman stories. And so when you see this beautiful couple together, married, successful, both of them are successful in their own right, happy, they can't take it because it's not the narrative that they want. Okay, fine. Um, um, Jonathan Owens is a tall, light-skinned brother, plays for the NFL, good-looking brother. That don't mean anything. Did he grovel at her feet, or at least is that the story? Is that the dominant narrative? If it's not, they don't want to hear it. The Disney princesses don't go chasing after men. That's how they think of it. They don't see, excuse me, they don't see a woman who saw what she wanted and she went after what she wanted and she got what she wanted. Nope. That's not a Disney-esque story. Remember, these are the same women that always want to hear this empowerment talk. No, but when it comes to men, black men, he's supposed to be the one to pursue. He's the one supposed to be bowed down. You're supposed to give him the runaround. You're supposed to check him, even if you like him. Understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying if they don't find you attractive, even when they find you attractive, even when they find you appealing, right? Huh. You're supposed to do what Tina Knowles did to Mr. Lawson. Check him right there on camera. That's what she was supposed to do when Mr. Owens was given that interview. Right? So tying that back to Tyler Perry, yeah, I think it'd be difficult for Tyler Perry to put out movies and any one of them brothers. Any one of them that have the means or the wherewithal or the connections to do it. Right? Denzel Washington, Steve Harvey, um, um, Tyler Perry, right? Any one of them. Rest in peace, John Singleton. All of these people, right? Spike Lee, if any of them put out any type of movie where not even just neutral, but like that's black male friendly, or that shows the dark side of black women, there'll be an uproar, right? There will be an uproar. And so everyone continues to put out movies and music and books that speak about how horrible black men are, particularly in relationship to black women, how black men prey on black women, how black men get off on hurting black women, right? how black men prey on black children, how black men insult and belittle and prey on LGBTQ while they're secretly LGBTQ, right? Womanizing on women, on black women, while wishing that they were with the Latina or white girl, while having DL fun with black men, while looking longingly at their niece, right? While sleeping on their baby mama's couch, right? While having a side chick and a side dude, what? While doing little schemy scams, and whenever they come up on money, they spend it on something frivolous like some tennis shoes, Jordans, right? That's the narrative. Exactly. And Indigo says there is no negative social consequences for disparaging and besmirching black men. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. Thank you, Indigo Flow. That's essentially what I'm saying. And if there's no social consequences in doing that, you have to understand it's not just non-black folks engaging in that. It's black men and black women that are also engaging in that type of language. That's how you get what's her face, Joyanne Reed speaking to black men the way she does. Yeah, you're really gonna be on the wrong side of history, right? That's how you get Tiffany Cross speaking to black men the way she did. When she said, "You Kevin Samuels quoting, or Kevin Samuels loving, Tariq Nasheed quoting black men, get in line with, get in line behind black women," huh? That's how you get that. That's how you get that. That's how you get FD signifier saying, calling BGS all type of N words back to back to back. That's how you get foreign man in a foreign land calling brothers nig cells. That's how you get that. It's seen as in vogue. It's chic. It's what's happening. To be very insulting and antagonistic to black men, especially black men that engage with any type of this black manosphere content. Oh, being absolutely insanely antagonistic because you're on the wrong side of history, don't you know? Shouldn't you be kissing black women's ass? Huh? Being extreme, and so that was funny when Bowser said we're antagonistic. I'm like, who? I know you ain't talking. Exactly, Vince. Trendy. It's trendy to be antagonistic. Even Soren said that years ago. Soren said that years ago. What was she speaking about? She was speaking about oh homegirl I want Miss America. What is her name? What is her name? It's right there. Not Vanessa Williams. The other she was on the show. Her face is right there. I say her name all the time. How did I forget her name? God damn. She was on that on Real Housewives of whatever show. Was it Atlanta? It was Atlanta, right? Her face is right there, and I can't get the name out. Okay, anyway, but Soren was speaking about her and whatever situation she was going through with whatever man. This is forever ago, and Soren randomly said it like, "These y'all be antagonistic as hell to men," right? Because certain women see it, certain black women see it. They see it. And our society is all about, particularly in the black community, especially in the black community, being antagonistic to black men, and then on the other side, pretend and feign like you don't understand why your sons are coming home with Latinas, coming home with white women, coming home with whatever Asian women they outbox the white dude to get. Right? And exactly. And Saint Cyr says, shout out to Soren. Go dig through her BA gang playlist. Right? And that's when she was going around the country interviewing and having conversations with ADOS people. Right? And Saint Cyr says Seren really was and is ahead of the curve, man. You know, she said some problematic things in the past, but I will say Seren low key was checking a lot of, and this is why I had to say there was a difference in ADOS and non-ADOS women on the grapevine. Seren, she was she was checking them women on the low. She would check, especially what was her name, Bobo? When was it Stephen Clark? When the Stephen Clark thing happened, what that was like the Bay Area, and they did a video about it, and Bobo was essentially like F black men and leave them to be, and we shouldn't be in protesting for them, and we shouldn't do anything for them, and leave them to their own devices. Once again, black men are doing better than black women. Y'all really don't want to play this I'm gonna take my resources and go and F you game. Dear black women, y'all really don't want to play that game. Y'all, once again, y'all not doing the social math. Y'all really think y'all got way more going for y'all than y'all actually do. Which is sad and scary, to be black and be so goddamn oblivious. You can't afford it. Like, you financially can't afford it, and like your very being can't afford it. Y'all forget y'all live in America. But either way, okay, so Bobo spoke like that. Remember, this is like an immigrant black woman. Been in America for all of 2 seconds, but she over here talking this crazy about black men. And Seren followed her up, and Seren said the realest thing. Yeah, it may not be fair, but black women can't afford to not care about black men. Now, her framing, obviously, I don't agree with, but the message is still the message. Yeah, black women, it may not be fair. We might have to put in more work than black men. Once again, I don't like the framing of this, but she straight up said, yeah, we can't afford this. Right? And even when they spoke about interracial relationships and whatnot, I think Seren was in that panel too, and she just emphasized like, yeah, black men marry black women. I don't know what y'all talking about. Right? But if I'm not mistaken, I think Seren at one point she was in the DC area. That's where she's originally from, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, all the rest of them were in New York, and so they're seeing something a little bit different than what she was seeing. Kenya Moore, thank you. That's what I was speaking about. Michael Ross, thank you. Kenya Moore, right? Kenya Moore. Yeah, and Seren was covering Kenya Moore and whatever man she was with at the time and whatever situation, and she was telling women like, yo, y'all, and like she was saying like, y'all are coming off way too antagonistic to men, to black men, right? And so yeah, I disagree with Seren on a lot, but she did call out women for certain times. She did. I'll give her that. Right. But yeah, on the grapevine, she would check the women sometimes. She would. And especially Uchechi. Man, y'all are so, I'm telling, dear Black Manosphere, be glad that we weren't really like that. Like we weren't what we are now back when Grapevine was on. Y'all would have some of y'all would have damn near jumped off the bridge head first when y'all heard Uchechi talk and just the vitriol. And when you looked at her, you knew why she had a problem with black men. You knew why. Once you saw her, you were like, yeah, I get it. Right? But nobody could say it. Right? The vitriol that would come out of, oh my God, the toxic sludge that would come out of Uchechi's mouth, just she just, hate is not strong of a word. She just despised black men in particular. And she was one of those, I think she had gotten engaged throughout the show. I don't know if she ever actually got married to the dude, but and apparently it was a brother. But she had said it like if it wasn't for him, she had already resigned herself to being single. It's like, yeah, you're a heavy set, kind of unattractive sister with an insane resentment at black men because you look the way you do, and them niggas ain't checking. I couldn't even say Negroes, y'all. I couldn't. Them niggas ain't checking. Right? And so we got to pretend like that's not what's animating your very being, and take what you're saying at face value. That's something that might be some of the most difficult thing to do as a black man, especially some of us that's on the left, is when these women, particularly black women, start railing on about men and men's dynamics and how men are trying to subjugate women and how insecure men when it comes to successful women. And you looking at this young lady and you know what the real issue is, but you got to pretend like you don't know. It got to be some of the most enraging thing in the world. To be like, listen, lady, you're an antagonistic, mean, salty, unattractive yitch. I know why you saying the things you're saying. You ain't getting the type of dudes you getting. Or if you are, they're trying to do 3 o'clock in the morning booty calls with you. I know why you saying the things you're saying, but in your mind, that's what's going on, but you don't say it. Huh? You let them rail on and you pretend like, oh yeah, no, what you saying? Yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right. Yeah, these men, they really got to get it together. Yeah. Right? Stop being intimidated by successful women. Lady, I promise you it ain't your success, it's your face. Right? It's your weight. It's your attitude. It's all of it combined. Right? And Vince says it was written on her face in cursive. Uchechi's face, bro, Vince, you ain't never lied. Uchechi's face, man. That's why I tell y'all, like, especially for the women's channels that I cover, I know some of us be at work, but if you get a chance, glance down, glance at their face when they're talking. And just look at the facial expressions. Look at their face. Like when I covered the women in Miami or the women from South Florida a couple of weeks ago, and I kept on telling y'all, especially the young lady with the black dress, look at her face when she was like, what are we talking about? Look at her face. Look at how animated she got. Right? Go ahead and pay these bills. Huh? Look at Real Talk with Yanni's face when she's talking about black men. Look at Paris Milan's face when she's talking about black men. Look at their face. It tells you everything you need to know. Huh? Look at Leona Worldwide face. Look at Cynthia G's face. It's more than hate. They need black men to know you are nothing. And of course you're nothing because you're not a rich white man and you didn't make her a rich white woman. Of course you're nothing. You're not white, you're not rich. And you ain't make her, well, a rich white woman. So you're nothing. Huh? Meanwhile, black men are married out more than black women, right? So black men are married more than black women. Black men are interracially married more than black women, right? Black men earn more than black women. Black men have better credit scores than black women. Black men employ more people than black women. Black men are in less debt than black women. We are attached by the hip, but it's not black men that are trying to sever that attachment. Uh-oh. To their own detriment, by the way. Right? And I'm Waffle says they love us so much it hurts them. You know when you said that, what I thought of? Shout out to Jeff Brown. Jeff Brown said this one time about Ike Turner, right? He said Ike Turner loved Tina. He loved her. His love just came with a right hook. And it's like, it's so messed up, but it's like kind of funny. And I really do think black women love black men. I'm not talking about the Chrissies or whatnot, right? I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the average black woman. I think she loves black men. She just needs you to know your place beneath her. Huh? I don't think the average black woman doesn't love the average black man. And I know I might be breaking up right now. My apologies. Y'all give me a second. Actually, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, no, I think your average black woman does love black men. The verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and maybe possibly physical abuse. But the average black woman, I think, loves her man, loves her father if her father was part of her life, right? Older brother, younger brother, siblings, right? Black male siblings, black cousins, black male cousins. Yeah, no, I think your average black woman loves black men. She just needs you to know your place. Provide, protect, and shut up. Who did I cover a little while ago? Stephanie Perry, right? Stephanie Perry, she was in Africa. She told you when them sisters go to Africa with the ones that go with their husbands, they know that they're gonna go chill with her, and their boyfriends or husbands or their man goes and bugger off somewhere, right? And look at the way she said it when she said it. Know his place. He know the women are talking, right? The adults are talking. Go do something, little boy. Go find something to do, right? Huh. So I think black women love black men. They just need you to know your place, and they need you to know that their love is going to come with emotional abuse, verbal abuse, mental, definitely financial, and possibly physical, right? Else actor say he's looking for a bush baby, right? But be careful what you ask for, Miss Stephanie Perry, right? Oh, see, exactly. And else actor say the same in time. Be careful what you wish for. Exactly, exactly. And Vince says, I don't think black women know how scalability works. They just believe in manifest. I don't think that's a black woman thing. I think that's a human thing. I think when you if you were to speak to the average person, average American, and talk to them about scaling up something that is an outlier or something that might be able to be replicated once or twice, but you can't really scale that too much. You can't make that a societal norm, a community norm. They wouldn't understand when you even use the word scale or scalability. They wouldn't even understand what you're saying. Even if you said it in context, they wouldn't really. What does that even mean, right? I don't think that's a black woman thing. I think that's a people thing. They see something work for them, maybe work for someone they're close to, a friend or a family member, and they're like, okay, this could be replicated. Eh, right? That's like Jordan. That's like Michael Jordan telling you that you could be him, right? Anybody could be me, bro. We're not even built the same, right? Forget just the talent and the hard work. We're not even built the same. Before we even get into the talent and the hard work, right? And Saint Cyr says, hard pass on that, Z. I don't need all that toxicity in my life. I'm headed out to the island nations listed or bush sides of hysterical bush sides of Honduras and Brazil. Right? I'm telling you, so but let's make sure we wrap this up the right way. I think Coach Greg Adams did a great job here. I'm gonna listen to it again. I think this is gonna be like the fourth to listen to. Um, and I think BGS backing up Coach Greg Adams was great. Um, I do agree that this death spiral is brought to you by women and elites around the globe, technocrats who thought they knew what they were doing, but apparently not, unless they did this on purpose, right? Tinfoil hat on, tinfoil do rag on. Shout out to Indigo Flow and tinfoil kufi on, right? Um, if they're not doing, if this is not Georgia Guidestones type of, tinfoil hat population control thing, and maybe they realize, okay, maybe we went too far with this. If they didn't do this on purpose, it was actually really miscalculation. Then, oh my God, right? Like y'all went to the best schools in America on the planet, and y'all fumble this, right? So I'm making room for either possibility. the technocrats doing this on purpose, or them thinking they knew what they were doing and miscalculating. Either way, right? Or, the battle of the technocrats, right? Either way, we end up here where more and more men and women are disassociating from each other. Men are becoming more and more despondent, particularly younger men under the age of 40, under the age of 30, especially. While women are complaining about the men are becoming more and more despondent and finding different things to take up their time and their energy, right? That's hysterical. And Vince is too many Mentos in the Coke. Oh, that thing exploded, oh, Vince. That's funny, right? Oh, man. So that's what I think. I think this is it. It is more and more men realizing how hopeless this is coming off to them, and that yes, you can meet a wife in America, right? I don't. America doesn't produce wives anymore, but you still can meet a wife here. But that's an outlier, and I agree with. And even with that, you still have a likeliness that she divorces you. But like Coach Greg Adams said, if you ain't making $500,000 a year, then the likeliness of your marriage lasting. And like, no, not really, but yes. Like he's right, but he's wrong, but he's right at the same time. He's right, but he's wrong at the same time, right? You don't got to be that rich. You don't have to earn that much, but there is something to be said about, once again, and this is according to the American Enterprise Institute, which is a conservative think tank. 26% of poor Americans are married. 39% of working class Americans are married. 56% of middle class and above Americans are married. Women are more likely to file for divorce on poorer men, then, once again, working class men, then middle class and above. That's all women. Everything I just listed just now, it's all the women. That's all on women, right? And Black Uru says, I think through I think he meant to say they. I think through. I don't think they. I'm saying this wrong. I think they did not fully realize how technology and cheap air travel would liberate men. Yeah, that wasn't in the calculation, right? I would add internet and social media into that too, right? And Vince says, Z, can we do a offline stream conference? I can't do one today, but remember this is regular stream. Um, let's shoot for tomorrow. Let's shoot for tomorrow, right? If not tomorrow, Sunday. I might be able to pull that Sunday, right? Saturday or Sunday. Let's shoot for that, right? Huh. Good point. And Mr. Shook to you says, Z, Brad Pitt, Michael Jordan, George Clooney, Tom Brady can't keep a marriage. What chance does any average guy have? That's true. I'm saying on average, well, based off of the numbers, the more you earn as a man, the more likely you are to be married and to stay married. That doesn't mean divorce doesn't come for the elite too, but it does mean, once again, on average, the more you earn as a man, right, the more likely you are to get married and to stay married, right? Right. So yeah, it mitigates for a woman wanting to file for divorce. Huh? But what you're saying isn't lost on me. And yeah, I mean, I just want to emphasize this is on women. This is on women. This is on the technocrats. This is on the elites. Your average guy is just your average guy. True. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. True. True, true, true. Right. This is on the women with their weirdo partnership language. Bleh. Right. As a split Jim said, partner. Bleh. Right. And Black Uru says the higher in class a woman is, the more likely she is to stay for image, reputation, and social standing. And there you go. And there you go. Give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, no, exactly what Black Uru just said. Right. So, should we bring shame into filing for divorce? Yes. Yes. Especially for these frivolous ass, no fault divorce ass reasons? Absolutely. No fault divorce brought to you by Ronnie Reagan. All right. But yeah, no, I wanted to emphasize what Coach Drex Adams said by saying, yeah, the death spiral is brought to you by pretty much women. The all this internet conversation is doing, it's making it worse, to be honest, but it's also showing you what the women were on in the first place. Right. All that weirdo genocidal eugenics talk, if you're not an elite or rich white man, that's what the women were on anyway. All of that lifestyle crap, that's what the women were on anyway. Huh? All of that I am queen, earth, mother, goddess, that's what the women were on anyway. And especially when you live in this kind of deregulated market, all we did was make it worse, but that's what the women were on anyway. And that's, if women were left to their own devices, that's what they would be on, and that's what they're on. By taking away the stigma of divorce, all our society has done was just allow for women to be more of who they are. Y'all just don't know how to, y'all don't know how to grapple with this and to say it out loud and to own this is what the women are on. Right. Our society, because the worst thing in the world is to be labeled anti-feminist, anti-woman. So our society just refuses to be honest, like, oh crap, we liberated the women into madness, like Black Uru says. That's why you see Dr. Richard Reeves, he's trying, I could see him, he's trying to use certain phrases, certain language to kind of get the women to come around and to understand that you really don't want the men that America is producing. Scott Galloway says way too many. The world is producing way too many with lonely and essentially he's trying to say lonely and despondent men, and that's dangerous for society. No. Will there be a few men, mainly not black men, that go out there and do some insane, heinous violent stuff? Yeah, but for the most part, what you're going to get is more despondent men, and our society can't financially afford it. Our society can't afford it in general. Western civilization and the world cannot afford it. Huh? And Black Guru says, so that, and this is the repeal or the not just the no fault divorces. And Black Guru says, so rich and famous guys like Reagan can more easily get out of their first marriages and marry the young, cute secretaries and starlets they were banging on the side. And then your average man got to eat the cost of that. Right? Huh. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Yeah, your average man got to eat the cost of that. Because while Reagan and his ilk push this forward so they can marry the little side chick, your average man got hit with a zillion divorces because his wife thought she could do better outside and destroyed the family and the kids, right? In attempts to do that. Destroyed the family and the kids in an attempt to do that. And here we are some 40 or some odd years later watching the fallout of that. How is that working for women? It's not. The children, it's not. The men, it's not. Huh? Oh boy. So yeah, we're in a death spiral because we have taken away the social mechanisms that cause people to get married, and we have decentralized them, particularly the women. But then there's a cost to that. There's a cost to the women not wanting to be married. Huh? And trying to get society to make up for not having a husband. Shout out to Sherry Shepherd and what she said, that rent a husband type thing she was trying to forward. That's a prime example of the cost of not having a husband. Not having some type of man. Any piece of man. Shout out to Guy. Any piece of love. I'm glad Sherry Shepherd said that. That's why I say let the women talk. When you let them talk, you hear what Sherry Shepherd said. Look, we're insufferable. Many of us, she didn't use those words, but that's what it is. We can't make it work with an individual man. Too many men are like a turnoff to me. Right? Too many men are not okay with me like being the boss hog woman. Right? So can I rent your husband? Can I borrow your husband? I mean, like, he's your husband. I'm not really trying to do anything sexual with him. Not really. But can I get him to like help me move this or put this TV on a wall? Or like move this cabinet? Right? Huh. Oh no, yeah, no, we spoke about this already. And Black Uru says Nancy was Reagan's second wife, and Nancy had a rep for being an all-time Hollywood starlet pass around. Even Frank Sinatra mentioned it. She supposedly was an early model superhead. Yeah, I heard she got that Gog 3000 on lock back in the day. Right? Huh. Yeah, I heard it. That Gog, yeah, and that's probably why Reagan used to speak like this. Right? Man. And I'm Waffle says, where do you see our favorite misandrist content creators by 2030 and the gender war online together? 2030 is when they said 45%, 45 to 50% of women single, right? Yeah, no, I see. Let me think about this. 2030, which is give or take 5 years away at this point, but little under 5.5 years away. I think you see more and more women, and I'm going to get to the content creators in a minute. I think you're going to see more and more women resign themselves into a lifetime of singleness, solitude, loneliness. I think you're going to also see men also resign themselves to that. I think more and more women will also resign themselves into being the side chick to whatever dude they like. And then if they could sperm jack him and get a baby, they will. For some of them, they won't. I think you'll see more normalizing of being the side chick to the guy that'll pass you $200 and $300 a month. $400 a month, $500 a month, $100 a month. I think you'll see a somewhat normalization of that type of rhetoric and language. Um, I think the conversation will still continue between men and women. I think it I don't see this is the I don't know if the heat and the angst calms down or if it intensifies. If it intensifies, I think it gets violent. I think this is kind of the air quotes sweet spot for the conversation. Because anything more than this, and it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get uglier, right? When it comes to the content creators, I think all that can be said has already been said for the most part. The female divester, swirler, level up, black women in luxury, I can do battle by myself, single mother by choice, single by choice, um, I would like a man, but I'm unbothered ass content creators. I think they continue to make the content they're making because it's lucrative. Huh? I think it's lucrative. I think they're making really good money. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little bit of stuff. Everything I get off of YouTube is straight super chats for the most part. I don't make no AdSense money, and I will tell y'all there's a lot of content creators, black male content creators, the black manosphere. We don't make no AdSense money. YouTube not messing with us like that because of the type of content we make. We're dedicated to the message. The content we make, we don't make nothing. But the women, they're making AdSense money, especially those of them with hundreds of thousands of subscribers and AdSense money. Think about it. If you ever watch a Real Talk with Yenny live, she not making no super chat. She don't got nothing off of super chats. She's not making Fresh and Fit or Kevin Samuels type of super chat money. She's not making that, right? It's all AdSense. So it's lucrative. That's why they make the content they make. That's why they have two and three channels. I'm telling y'all right now, ain't no way, especially with that Drake versus Kendrick Lamar think piece that FD Signifier put out. I wouldn't be surprised if FD touched $100,000 off of that alone. Yeah, y'all heard right. Between the viewership, let's say he got $10 per viewer or something crazy like that, plus the AdSense money, I wouldn't be surprised if he saw $100,000 off of that, maybe more. No? So the female content creators that's getting tens of thousands of views per video, they're putting out maybe a video a week. That has 20 some odd, 30 some odd, 40, 50 some odd. Maybe their most viewed video is at 150,000, 130, 120, maybe 75. They're making enough money to chill out. So the content they're making some good money. They're probably making a good. Yeah, Real Talk with Yenny, we know she's breaking six figures, but she said it. So her and Chrissy are, and then Chrissy still works, still has a 9 to 5. Yeah, Real Talk with Yenny and Chrissy are easily 150 plus. Paris Milan probably same because she has 300 and some odd thousand subscribers. Real Talk with Yenny and Chrissy are like 2 and some change. Yeah, they're gonna continue with the same type of content, right? So I think they just continue to say that. And Mr. Z, granted, let's be honest and fair, Mr. Z is emphasizing certain points over and over again. We have new, and like Coach Greg Adams said, we have new content to emphasize the same points, but so do the women. Now, only one of us is truly on the right side of history. That's my argument. The women claim it's them, but the numbers don't say that, right? So when you consider the type of money they're making, I don't really see the women backtracking off of this type of content, right? And I'm gonna still finish answering your question, but let me read this real quick from Black Uru. And Black Uru says, I did an analysis of what had been posted of how FD had done on YouTube last month. My calculations were he made as much as 11,000 that month in AdSense alone. Right. So you can, because remember, his wife was successful doing her thing. He was a teacher, right? So consider he set his wife down. He made his wife a stay-at-home wife. So think about it: 2 kids, your wife don't got a need for nothing no more, barely got a want, and no, FD got to be making, especially over the past couple years, he got to be making probably off of YouTube. I wouldn't be surprised if FD touched 250,000 plus. I wouldn't be surprised. Only logical said they will backtrack soon. Yeah, I mean, even over the past couple years, and this speaks to the strength of the Black manosphere and some of what we forward. They're outside of like the most extreme, the Lexus Exoduses of the world and whatnot. Even Chrissy had to slow down. Crystalline Karazin had to slow down. Their message and the overall message is still the same: Black men ain't go date out, marry out. But the way they say it is way more. If you're new to this conversation and you're listening to Z and you're like, yo, this energy, Z, like, what are you talking about? You really don't understand how Chrissy sounded and Crystalline Karazin sounded. What are we in 2024? Back in like 2019, 2018. Y'all don't really get 2017, 2018, 2019 Chrissy them, because the articles that were coming out, like Trell said earlier, back in 2017 and 2016, 2018, the Black men are the white men of the Black community, and Black men are the weakest link of the Black community type articles, right? If you weren't here for that and for those type of articles and the conversations that were going on Twitter and on YouTube at the time, you don't understand how Chrissy and Crystalline Karazin were engaging in that. When Crystalline Karazin watched the 101 East documentary mini doc on was it Japan or was it South Korea? I want to say it was Japan. The assault of women, we'll say, in Japan, I want to say, and she was like, they need to do one on America. If you weren't here for that, and how we made fun of, and I wasn't known in the Black manosphere yet, but how we made fun of Crystalline Karazin, but lady, DV in the Black community is largely bi-directional. They're doing y'all a favor by not covering DV in Black America. They're doing y'all a favor, right? So yeah, I almost lost my train of thought. But going back to what I'm Waffles is saying, and let me go highlight that again. Give me a second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Where did that go? Mr. Z, find it. Yeah, give me a second. Because this thing that ran from me. There we go. But yeah, by 2030, I see the women just continuing on what they're on now. Especially because 5 years, it's a million years away, but it's tomorrow. At the same time, it's tomorrow. And like, even if the governments around the world tried their best hairpin turn in the opposite direction, and like dumped as much money, and just tried to curtail all of this talk, including even from the women online, and dumped as much money in fostering an environment that creates nuclear family and has children, and your average woman producing 3 and 4 kids. It wouldn't happen overnight, and so the content coming from these women would be the same. It would be the same. That's my argument, right? And Eric Demon says, Z, who is FD Signifier's audience? I can only guess it's black women and white men. So FD, I think he's tried to emphasize this, and he's even come up on my channel to attempt to emphasize this, that he has black male audience members. And I don't disbelieve him. I believe him. Now the question of how many, now that's when it gets interesting. Particularly on his main channel, FD Signifier, not the B-Sides channel and not the other channel he has with his wife. And I think he had Mac and Murphy speak on that channel also. No, but the real, like on his main channel, the one with 800, I think it's about 800 at this point, 800,000 subscribers. I think you might have a point there. I think it might even be majority black men, young black men, but I think a nice ass minority is women and, like you said, white men, right? White liberal men. And you saw this on his B-Sides channel when he mentioned it, and you read through the comments, and it was a bunch of like not black men in the comments saying, "I want you," and I didn't want, and I enjoy your content. And it was women from out of the white women from outside of America and LGBTQ non-black folks, and yeah, right. And it's something that FD said on Ole's channel. And he said, and Ole backed him up when he said this. He meets women all the time that say, "Oh, I get my boyfriend to watch your content. I try to emphasize your content." And I'm like, FD, do you understand what these women are saying, bro? Do you get it? And I think he thinks he gets it. Which is like, bro, they saying they don't see you as a threat. They like that you're neutering their fucking husband for them. We're in the profanity stage of Z's channel right now, right? That's what they like, is that you explain their sentiments in their worldview in a air quotes manly way to their significant other. Huh? And something only logical. Oh yeah, and like only logical said here, they will backtrack soon. Some, and that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, no, that's what you got from a lot of these women. They turned down the temperature a bit over the past few years. That's what I was attempting to say earlier. Their rhetoric back in like 2017, 18, 19 was just red hot. It's so difficult to explain to y'all what Chrissy was sounded like, and like Paris Milan and Real Talk with, they still are, right? But like, and you know, when Paris Milan really got into her feminist side groove, and every story was some, excuse me, 50 something year old, 40 some odd year old black man preying on some 12-year-old little girl. This black little girl, 12 years old, 15 years old, 14 years old, went missing, and the last person that was close to her was some 55-year-old like weirdo looking dude, weirdo black man, right? And like half the time you find out like she like is at her boyfriend's house and like she ran away from home, right? And like that's the type of rhetoric, and that's the type of messaging that these content creators were producing for years, unabated. Like no one outside the black manosphere trying to slow them down at all. I want y'all to understand, when Kobe Bryant died, people saw other black women who even disagreed with these women. They saw the women celebrating Kobe Bryant's death. They said nothing. They largely said nothing. And that all that leads men to believe, black men to believe, is that y'all agree with her. Y'all agree with her. So even if you agree with her or you don't, you agree with her because you said nothing. Huh? Thank you. And Black Uru says, FD does well because black women and liberal white people want to see and hear a straight black man say what he says. Otherwise, he is an intellectual mediocrity. Right? And I think FD knows that's his lane. As a matter of fact, that he's emphasized that's his lane. He emphasizes that when he saw the rise of Kevin Samuels, he wanted to be a counter to Kevin Samuels. And when Kevin Samuels passed, he really knew that was his window to hurry up and scoop in and get as many the minds of many and the ears of many young black men in particular as humanly possible, so that he could be a foil to the Fresh and Fits, to the Andrew Tates, to the Kevin Samuels. He's pretty much said that, right? In other words, he wants to socialize the men, like he said, to be air quotes more resilient in the face of a-hole women. Now, how many women are attempting to turn down the temperature on the way women are talking and acting and speaking and feeling about black men in particular? None. Like I said, every once in a while, Juicy will put out a video. Every once in a while, Teen doing the 1 foot in, 1 foot out of saying crap about black men. So yeah. So while foreign man in a foreign land consciously, like, I want to be very clear what Mr. Z is saying, because I am saying, what about the women? These men that have been tasked with air quotes regulating black men, they come at us with all of the, like, this energy, this aggression, this antagonism, the insults, the belittling, the sassy ass attitude. Think about Professor Odie, but definitely consciously when it came to the Rhoda thing. Think about how they were talking to us. We were right. And look at how they were talking to us. Because we ain't going with the narrative, and this black African immigrant played their ass with their own narrative. And look at how they were speaking to us, and even worse, when they knew she was wrong, that's when they really were mad at us. Hey man, shut up, man, shut up, right? Look at the energy that they were going at us with, huh? So when you speak in a black men, you speak to black men the way foreign man in a foreign land does, calling us all type of Nick cell. When you speak to black men, you tell them, yeah, your concerns are 200 on the list, with Alvin's sassy ass face on waving the red flag. When you speak to black men, you minimize what they're saying, like consciously and Professor Odie did, right? You insult men and their concerns like T1J does. You dismiss it. Oh, y'all some weirdo incel dudes. Now, when you're speaking to women, first of all, which you rarely do, about their misbehavior, first of all, you rarely do it, and you give some little mealy mouth ass, soft ass. Okay, ladies, maybe we might not want to do that, huh? That's the way T Noir approaches it. That's the way Juicy is a little bit more. I'll give her that. But even Kim Foster. So they could be all type of, look at their face. Look at Kim Foster when she's talking about black men. Look how she's swaying in the chair. Look at all the sass, and the women and the men when they talking about black men, they take the gloves off. It's bare knuckles and punches to the face, right? But when they talking to the women, it's tap tap. And even what did FD say on my channel? Because they think the women on the right side of history. That's what they're telling us. The women are on the right side of history. I could tie that to the conversation, the topic of today, and go ahead and be comfortable with the death spiral then. Because the men don't agree. And FD, your channel is not going to change one thing about real life black men not coupling with black women. By the way, I want to say this again because I've said it before. FD, you got the wrong message if you think the women's real issue with black men is the air quotes antagonism online. No, their issue with black men is that you're not rich and you're not kissing their ass and subsidizing them and blowing smoke up their ass, telling them how great they are and how infallible they are. You don't get it. So when you brag about your 800,000 subscribers, it doesn't mean anything if you're not getting black men to be okay with mean, asshole, condescending, rude, insulting, demeaning ass black women. Marry them, kiss her ass, and be okay with her cheating on you or divorcing you and taking half. If you're not getting black men to be okay with that, then you're not doing your job. You think your job is something else. You think it's really about black men being more resilient. Huh? Hysterical, better you. Right? And thank you, Vince. And that's all it's going to be. More resilient equal more palatable equal more honorable suckers. FD think that's not what that's not what he's been tasked to do. That's what you've been tasked to do. That's why, see, you didn't go into detail, and I'm okay with you not. He said him and Kim Foster have gone back and forth. Yeah, I wonder on what. I heard Themis tell you essentially you not giving us the energy he needs you to give us, and you didn't understand what Themis was really saying. What did Themis say? He said these men need to protect black women. Bro, I know what I'm saying. I'm telling y'all I know what I'm saying. I listen to these people far too much. It's not good for my health. Themis told you what it is, FD. You just didn't understand. Bro, you're supposed to be the academic, by the way. When Themis said protect black women, what do you think he really meant by that? You took that just as surface level protect, didn't you? I put money you took that surface level protect. I put money, that's what you think he just meant that surface level. FD, brother, you're older than me and you're the academic. You're the one with access to other academics, PhDs all over the place. You could get on the phone and get in contact with Diallo. You could get on the phone and get in contact with Dr. Jared Ball. You could get on the phone and get in contact with whatever PhD you want. Brother, my tiny ass channel versus your channel, you don't see I don't think you really appreciate how ineffectual your channel is if you're not getting the black men in particular to be paymasters that don't assert none of the power. If you don't get us to do that, then you're not effectual. That's what the women are really charging you with. You don't get it. Themis just told you, and I still don't think you understood what he was saying. Huh? And Ghost Maddox is actually, let me read that in a minute. Give me 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Let me do this real quick. And are we back yet? Are we back? Give me a second, y'all. And we're back. And let me go and read that. And Ghost-O-Matic says, Z, FD sub account is a fallacy. CGA was 2K live viewers every stream. Manosphere channels consistently have high rates of super chats also. The men women want, need are here, not there. Oh, yeah. We're here, not there. We're here, not there. Because I don't think men over here have a problem with, let's be honest, with almost anything women are demanding. Even the career women that want to earn $1 million, $1 zillion. Fine. Are you okay with being with a man that doesn't earn that? And that's where the issue comes in, doesn't it? I agree with you that the men that they're desiring are over here. There's one problem though. We talk too much. We don't know our place enough. You know, beneath them. And I don't mean in the giggity way either. Huh? That's the problem. Everything else, yeah. You have a sense of manhood, a sense of obligation. You got your masculinity in check. Yeah, all of that. That's great. But you think that your masculinity has a cost. That you're not going to give it to her for free. And there's the problem. Not only are you not going to give your masculinity to her for free, what did Kevin used to say? They want cheese pizza. She thinks, okay, fine, I'll just give you this. And you're like, yeah, that's not what I'm asking for, though. Wait, you don't want partnership? No. I want a wife. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. They want cheese pizza. The men, black men, want cheese pizza. Now, Mr. Z's a pepperoni guy, but either way, the men want cheese pizza. Let me say it again. The men want cheese pizza. Huh? So yeah, what we're doing over here is far more effectual because FD don't even really appreciate the mission he's been sent on. I think he know the mission he's been sent on. He don't really get it. FD think he's been sent on the mission to make us obsolete. Like he said, he's made us obsolete and he's worked around us. For those of you that didn't know and y'all didn't hear me a couple of streams ago, yes, when FD was on Themis channel, his response to Themis, when Themis was essentially saying, but the black manosphere, the black manosphere, the black manosphere, he was like, yo, I made them obsolete and I worked around them. That was his response. FD signifies response to Themis. Here's the problem. You didn't make us obsolete because you didn't address what the women are really saying. And that's what Themis was trying to tell you. FD, someone tag FD to this and give him the timestamp. FD, you didn't get what Themis was trying to tell you. And I blame Themis for that. Because the women, including LGBTQ brothers, they don't actually use the words they really mean. They use that ambiguous ass, liberal, soft ass, indeterminate language. Easily misinterpreted language. Up for interpretation language. When Themis told you these men need to be essentially raised to protect women, you took that surface level. You didn't get it. Think about the context of the conversation, y'all, where y'all were in the conversation. What he's telling you is y'all are not producing enough bow down to women ass men, black men. Huh? So let me finally read this and what's this? Okay, look, Mr. Z cannot pronounce this. I need the phonetic pronunciation for this, everyone. But he says, finally caught you live, brother. A much needed voice, paying my entry fee. Oh, bro, thank you for the super chat. Right now, I feel even extra more embarrassed about pronouncing your name wrong. Right, man. And Vince says FD is ruining the fabric of society. I know what you meant to say. On an academic level, I wouldn't say that, to be honest with you. I think FD is just perpetuating the BS. He's continuing it, but he's not making it any worse. Unless your argument is that just perpetuating it is making it worse, which I can hear that argument. But he's not doing anything more egregious than we've already seen. He's another black man that found his niche and that think that this is his calling, and he has sons and he doesn't want them to go down the wrong road, and the wrong road is where we are in his mind. He doesn't want to raise a bunch of bitter ass, incel ass sons that air quotes hate black women and hate women overall, and is a sexist monster, and think that women's position in this society is to be in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. Right? I get it. Right? So FD and their goal, and this is Dr. Richard Reeves' goal also, I would argue, is to get men to be okay and still do for society and community without being coupled with women. And have fun on that. Dr. Richard Reeves is trying to get men to be okay with it writ large. FD is trying to get black men specifically to be okay with that. It ain't happening. Still have a sense of communal or societal obligation while not being coupled up with individual women, and being okay with not having children, and not being jealous, and not being envious, and not having any angst or anger at the men that go through women like water. not having an issue with the societal mechanisms that women perpetuate, where they emphasize that you ain't it and this other dude can have all the women he want, and be okay with that, and but still have a societal obligation. Man, still have a communal mindset. What Obsidian say? Community eunuch. Be okay with being a community eunuch. And by the way, you're single and you don't have a woman because you're weird and awkward and you have incel like tendencies anyway. That's what I would argue. Maybe not FD, he probably would say it, but maybe not FD, but the general consensus over there is that the men that are single, the men that don't have a woman, particularly a black woman, probably have incel like tendencies anyway. Especially if you listen into the black manosphere. You're toxic anyway. That's why you don't got no damn woman, right? Huh. And once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Agdamir, is it Agdamir? Maybe it's Agdamir 73. Maybe Z, did you just like look at that? We'll just say that. Agdamir 73. And thank you for the super chat. Once again, thank you for the super chat. And I am Waffle says, and thank you for the super chat. FD said he doesn't like Umar or Derek Jackson, but ironically doesn't see that women support him for the same reasons they support Umar and Derek. I don't know if he doesn't see. That's good. That's actually really good. I am Waffles, because what if you watched his think piece on Dr. Not Dr. Umar Johnson, sorry, on Derek Jackson, he said he understood why women would gravitate to Derek Jackson. Good looking brother, who speaks about how important women are and how we need to do right by black women, and non-toxic, and he pushes, especially if you come from a somewhat Judeo-Christian, and I'm paraphrasing some of what his message was. If you come from a Judeo-Christian churchy background, um Derek Jackson just checks off all the boxes, right? And especially him coming to the air quotes rescue of black women and whatnot, he just checks off all the boxes. So FD was essentially saying he gets why the women would ride with Derek Jackson, even up past them finding out, his relationship with his wife, or lack thereof now, ex-wife. He gets it, right? And I would argue to FD, what he doesn't appreciate about the role he actually is playing is that women have put him and other content creators like Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, Consciously, in a box where they are supposed to be the black female whisperer to us. They're supposed to chastise us, wag their fingers at us, insult and demean us for women, for black women. Tell us we're on the wrong side of history. I say exactly what Joyanne Reed said. And by the way, that's going to intensify up and through the election. And if Kamala becomes president, it's going to intensify even more. They will be given money and resources galore to shut us up, if they don't just take us off of social media altogether. I'm telling y'all this now. If they don't take us off of social media altogether, if you think we're shadow banned now, whew, right? And it really is, and I don't think FD appreciates what I'm saying if he ever listens to what I'm saying here. Bruh, you're really just here. Not you say to put the men in a position to be air quotes more resilient. No, you're here to get them comfortable with black female effery and abuse. Verbal abuse, mental and emotional abuse, rhetorical public abuse of black men. The way you speak about black men like they're a nuisance, right? Like they're your little brother that your mom told you, yeah, you got to bring him where you go. Like they're unwanted tag along, anchor on black women's ankles. Like black women always got to explain black men, huh? Black men are black women's ADHD short bus brother, younger brother, that you got to explain him, especially to good white liberal folks, right? He's an embarrassment, unless, of course, he's FD signifier or foreign man in a foreign land, or consciously, the people that do the bidding of the women against the men. I want to be very clear. I want to emphasize that. Not try to get us to couple together. And it's funny when FD tried to bring up the Black Panthers. I know exactly what he's trying to say. Yeah, but the Black Panther men were, in intimate relationship with the Black Panther women. The Black Panther men weren't being told to go lay their life on the line for a community where they weren't going to get the women. And they had to be okay with raising some white dude's mixed children. Ooh, damn, Z. For this failed ass swirler or divester, who, when you go scroll back in her social media accounts from 5 and 6 years ago, she was all talking about how horrible black men are. See, the Black Panthers didn't have to deal with that. The Black Panther men did not have to deal with that. Not by and large. Huh? Yeah, exactly. I was active says black women's Achilles heel. Yeah, that's essentially what black men are. Right? Ooh, that's good. And Black Guru says, in Dr. Johnson's ConcuSurf paradigm, for the purposes of social media, Jackson is the ideal concubine, and FD is the ideal serf. Ding 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 ding. I gotta agree with this one. I have to agree with that one. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. All right. Huh. So yeah, no, we so now that we know that we're at a death spiral, I'm about to come to a close, you guys. Right. The goal now here is what? I think that might be the next that might be something we have to talk about next stream, right? Stay tuned. Now, what's the goal for men? Because I'm saying it's to get us comfortable with working for a system that doesn't work for us, and subsidizing the women that we're not attached to, and taking care of some next man's baby, right? And you even hear little rumblings of this coming from the women, right? Like, these men are being told not to date single mothers. The ones of them that are single mothers and they're in the know of what this means societally, oh, they're deathly afraid. It's a selfish deathly afraid because they're not really thinking about it on a macro level, a societal level, but they're deathly afraid for them individually and for their individual sisters, but not on a macro level. They're not really thinking about societally. Huh? Too many men saying they're not going to be stepdaddy. Does that affect women? You better believe it. Especially when you have women showing their ass and saying it straight up, you're getting on my program. Huh? We talk about antagonistic men all the time. Ain't nobody saying anything about these women. Right? And once again, I'm Waffles. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? And L's active exactly says solipsism won't allow them. It won't. Right? So, I let's appreciate what BGS did here and what Coach Greg Adams did here. Um, and let's make sure we emphasize to our family and friends, if and when this conversation ever comes up, the birth rates. Like Mr. Z, y'all already know. Like I try to memorize these numbers so I could just spit them out in the middle of a conversation. And by the way, when you do that, right? And BGS could attest to this, Black Uru could attest to this, Obsidian could attest to this. When you do that and you call people's bluff and tell them, look it up. No, look it up right now in front of me. Google it right now in front of me. When you do that to your, I'm telling y'all, Mr. Z did this. I've done this. When you do that to your girl cousin and she look it up in front of you and she realizes you're right, it doesn't matter what she says after that. It's done. I'm telling y'all this because I've done it. Huh? When you say look up, black men earn more than black women. Now, this is when they start doing the not enough more. Huh? When you have these numbers and you can recite them off the top, just back to back to back to back, and you frame the conversation. Let me tell you, one of the things Mr. Z loves doing, I love doing this, right? So recently, I haven't been able to really engage in these conversations because life is lifing. Um, and to be honest with you, these type of conversations don't come up in conversation all the time, right? Not all the time. And I'm not one of those people, believe it or not, offline that force the relationship conversation. But when it has been brought up, especially in recent years, back when the median income, household income was like 63 or some odd thousand, but now that it's been 74,000 for about a year or so, I've had about 2 chances to bring this up in conversation because that's just where the conversation was. Once again, Mr. Z did not force it. When I tell you, when you drop the bomb on everyone that the median household income is 74,000 and you're not just talking about black folks, you pretty much level the room. You level the room. Especially for those of you that have been around your black family members that do the whole, well, white people got the money like this and they start businesses and some weirdo uncle or some weirdo girl cousin is like, yeah, the white men got this and the Asians and that. And you tell them the Indian community is the one that's carrying the Asian when it comes to numbers because their median household income is somewhere between like 120, I think 120. It was 120 for the longest. I think now it's like 130 or 135. They're the ones that's really lifting that Asian number all the way up. You level the room when you tell people the median household income is $74,000, and I love doing that. This is the number that I love saying. Oh yeah, and 2/3 of men never make more than $65,000 a year in their life. I didn't just say black men, huh? I'm thinking about the one specific conversation I had, and I brought that up, and it's like I dropped a nuke, huh? It's like I dropped a nuke. Ex girl that I used to date. Which number did I drop on her? Which number did I drop on her? Was it median? It was in median household income. It was the men's income. It was the men's. This is before me and my lady. This is before me and Miss Z. Right. So Mr. Z is outside. I'm working. You can hear the wind noise and whatnot. And I'm on the phone. I'm at work, but I'm headphones in so I can still work. And I had the conversation with the young lady, and I told her the number, and she was like, "Z, no wonder when I got out of school," and she was in New York when she first got out of school. She moved back down to South Florida. She's originally from South Florida. And she said, yeah, when I was in New York, no wonder the interviewers would be looking at me crazy when I would ask for $80,000 a year. I'm like, you asking for 80 out the door? What are you, an attorney? Like a really good one? You working at a firm? There's certain firms, yeah, you can make that much, but you don't got no time to yourself. Walking in the door from law school. I'm not even going to tell y'all what she did when her college degree was in. She was asking for 80 ES even in New York. walking in the door. And she said to me, unprovoked, her own words, no wonder they were looking at me crazy, asking for 80. I'm telling, when y'all bring up these numbers and y'all tell them to look it up, you level the room, right? So that's why it is good. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Shout out to BGS. That's why it is good. Shout out to Obsidian to have these, just have them memorized. And it will, I'm not just telling y'all this just for rhetorical exercise, although it does feel good to check certain people in your family and your friends that think they know what they're talking about and they don't. But it does affect the black community. These weirdo narratives, particularly in the black community, that have been circulating unchecked, these weirdo ass ideas and concepts. That gives you 1 second. Oh, wait a minute. That gives you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, like I said, keep the numbers on deck because it definitely is good when you know the numbers and you're able to spit them out easily and you're able to put into context what people are seeing and feeling and just emphasize to them, yo, like that narrative is not conducive to family formation in the black community. It's not, this is some toxic understanding of what's actually going on. Black men earn more than black women. Black women do not earn more than black men. Yeah, but they're out educating black men. Yeah, education don't got nothing to do with income. Not like that. Not the way y'all are thinking about it, at least. Right? So the narrative of black men draining black women's income, living on black women's couches, does that happen? Yes, but once again, $50,000 a year or more. Black men outnumber black women 50 grand or more by 500,000 people. Black men in every income bracket, 50 grand or more, there are more black women. Excuse me, more black men. More black men in every income bracket, $50,000 a year or more. So for all of those black women, those aspirational black women, when they say, "Oh, it can't meet no man on my level," nah, you're not. You're shout out to Lion. You're not cutting the mustard. Those men are there. As a matter of fact, 500,000 more of them are there. 50 grand and more. That's 50,000 plus. That's 75,000 plus. That's 100,000 plus. That's a million. There are 500,000 more black men in the 50,000 plus range than black women. And y'all are losing many of those men to non-black women. Why black women? Because you're insufferable. No, because those black men are colorists and features and textures and nope, because you're insufferable. And as Coach Greg Adams put here, and as BGS have shown, y'all don't want to be wives. Y'all want to be, air quotes, partners. And so black men go find them women that want to be partners, whether that's African women, whether that's white women, Latina women, Asian women, or whether that's non-Americanized women, women from overseas, right? Huh. Dylan James says black women can't get black men that make 40K, let alone 50, right? Oh man. And KW Don says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. KW Don says Kamala doesn't get POTUS based on electoral college projections. Crotch grab 2024. Black women be damned on this one. I'm not saying she's gonna win. I'm saying I don't see. Huh, to me, it's not a foregone conclusion that Trump wins. As I said before, it is Trump's election to lose. It is Trump's election to lose. That is what Mr. Z has been saying. I'm going to continue to emphasize it. If Trump, and I still said it wrong because I did say, I'm going to say if Trump loses the election, not if Kamala wins it. There's a difference there. I mean, if Trump loses the election, obviously Kamala wins, but it's on Trump to lose. This is Trump's election to lose. And if he loses the election, then Kamala's in. And what I'm saying is don't count her out completely. There's a lot riding on Kamala winning. A lot of people want to see Kamala win because there's a lot. It's not just domestic policy. Be very clear. Right? And Black Uru says, the complexity of what you present, however, is Black women have many sources of resources that aren't connected to their own actual earnings, which creates part of their delusion about money. I agree. I agree. Right? That is my point. I agree. And the delusion ends up hurting them in the long run, in the short run, really. The other sources of income, right, and set asides and lookouts, it hurts them. And the whole world blowing smoke up their ass hurts them. But they insist that the world continue to do it. So deal with the consequences. Right? Dylan says, Black women are always head of the household, and they average 35,000. It's not, yeah. It's not sustainable. I need to bring that back. It's not sustainable. It's not. Right? It's just not. So yeah, no, it is what Black Uru says. They're being subsidized, and so it helps to cause them to be delusional. That's women writ large, but Black women specifically, and that has societal repercussions. And in the Black community, it has communal repercussions because women think they have more bargaining chips than they actually have, and then they throw a tantrum when the men say, "Yeah, do your worst, do your worst." The women are throwing a fit. I'm telling y'all right now, they are throwing a fit about that. And here you go, the death spiral. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. The death spiral. And that young lady says, when did you realize you lost your male partner to manosphere content? Man, whatever she said, manosphere, I think she said manosphere content. Manosphere content. Male partner. Meh. Partner. Ugh. Right? Your male partner. Disgusting. I'm gonna throw up in my mouth. Right? So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. Mr. Z is going on way too long. Thank y'all for listening in. Oh, we had 100. Hey, we had 100 watchers and listeners. Shout out to Compassionate. Compassionate said y'all was out here stealing cable. So y'all go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Thank you button for the replay game. Right? Stop stealing cable. Compassionate should have never gave me that. That's hysterical. Right? Compassionate, you need to do a sound clip of your own comments on that. Compassionate say y'all out here stealing cable. Right? So stop stealing cable, like, share, subscribe, right? And we'll pause right there for now. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z does plan on streaming either tomorrow or Sunday, maybe both, but those will be reckless streams, so you know that varies. Saturday and Sundays, my work tasks are a little different. So yeah. And if y'all don't hear from me this weekend, y'all will. then Mr. Z will see you on Monday. But most likely, y'all will hear from me tomorrow or Sunday. I definitely want to do a panel discussion. Shout out to Shay Sade. Shay, I did see what you mentioned me on. I listened to it and watched it. I should have said that earlier. Why did I say that in the beginning? I don't know. Mr. Z forgot. But I will be reviewing that. So shout out to Shay Sade. Shay Sade is letting them sisters know, hey, bro, hey, that swirler thing ain't where it's at. But yeah, so yeah, there's some stuff I want to cover. And shout out to Shay. Shout out to you, Only Logical. Doing the Lord's work, looking up, watching all these damn swirler divester fails. And yeah. So on that note, we'll pause right here. Truly, Coach Greg Adams did a great job. BGS reviewing it. The Death Spiral Population Collapse, brought to you by technocrats and elites and women. What about the average man? We don't got nothing to do with that. I said it the way I meant it. And so we'll pause right here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Mr. Z out.